calm. Punching his, dropping bombs.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live in the sporting capital of the world, Melbourne, Australia. My name is John Zimmercoy. It's an honour and a pleasure to call tonight's fights right here in the capital of fight sports of Australasia, the one and only, the Melbourne Pavilion. Tonight, Brian Armatruda and the team at Big Time Boxing present a massive night of fights. 3 Australian titles are up for grabs. The first, the lightweight title, will be found out in this very ring as the one and only Brent Rice takes on Gaige Island in our co-main event on the card. Hollow Point Janay Harding will fight Melbourne's own rising AFL and boxing superstar Tayla Harris in the ANBF Super welterweight title. And ladies and gentlemen, in our main event on the card, this is one you don't want to miss. Faiga Opelu takes on Kris Terzievski for the vacant Australian heavyweight title. A big night of fights coming your way. It's going to kick off now with bout number 1 on the card. Fighting out of the red corner, Tongchai Sadudee. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, Parek, the Brick Wall. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your opening bout on the card. Big Time Boxing on a massive night right here at the Melbourne Pavilion. This fight's 6 by 3 minute rounds in the super middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, trained by Sayed Khan out of Bangkok Boxing with an official weight of 76.8 kilograms, wearing the red trunks with blue and white piping. He's had 10 fights for 8 wins. Ladies and gentlemen, Tongchai Sadudee. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, trained by Dave Haggerty out of Tarnate Boxing Club with an official weight of 74.3 kilograms, wearing the red Everlast trunks with white piping. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight in this very ring, this man makes his pro debut and fights out of Wyndhamvale by way of Sudan. Ladies and gentlemen, Parek, the Brick Wall. When the action begins, your man in charge in the center of the ring, Mr. Ignatius Missilides.
Welcome everybody to Big Time Boxing. It is our big event tonight, our biggest fight card and the last of 2019. I welcome you, Matthew Pilios here with Jordan Ballerini and Jake Igington. Guys, welcome. It is the biggest card of 2019.
You've got 3 Australian title fights. I'm looking forward to that. Brent Rice and Gaige Island. Gaige Island's the current Australian champion. He defends his title for a second time against Brent Rice. The semi-main event I'm looking forward to, Tayla Harris, the AFL footballer, against Janay Harding. That's for the vacant Australian super welterweight title. And Tayla Harris is looking for a second Australian title in a second different weight class. And the main event, everyone can't wait for that. The Macedonian marvel in Christopher Terzievski comes up against Faiga Opelu, the Samoan-born fighter and Frank Bianco Cup winner.
Yeah, it's going to be beautifully said, Jordan. Jake, welcome to yourself as well, joining our Big Time Boxing commentary team.
Thank you very much, Matthew. It's a pleasure to be alongside 2 of the finest, in Matthew Pilios and Jordan Ballerini. Really looking forward to this one as well, boys. The heavyweight one particularly stands out for me as a fantastic contest. And the main event, of course, and also Tayla Harris as well in her fight against Janay Harding, who's been fighting in Bellator MMA recently, as recently as 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, she's pretty tough. It's going to be a beauty. I welcome everyone to this first fight as well. We've got Parek taking on Tongchai Sadudee, and you know, a totally different vast of physiques here. But these guys, they come out hard. Jordan, I'll get you to speak about this round one, but I just also wanted to say, live here on Epicenter TV, we welcome everybody and thank the Epicenter TV, the biggest in Australasia now, always going live across the world. It's going to be an unbelievable card, and A-Paris Production are doing the production here tonight. Guys, it's a huge card as we're halfway through this first round. Huge fights tonight. Unfortunately, for those viewers, our light heavyweight fight, David Drapak is eliminated, unfortunately. We saw Dave before just in the commentary position. His opponent has pulled out due to the doctors, I feel so. We'll get some more confirmation on that. I saw Brian Armatruda there as well. So David Drapak is out tonight. So we've got 9 fights down to 8 fights, ladies and gentlemen. But it's 3 title fights. It's a huge card tonight, and we love the heavyweights. And Trezewski, the Victorian favourite son, takes on one of the toughest out of Queensland, Faiga Opelu. We saw him beat 3 fighters in the Frank Bianco Cup earlier this year. He has heavy, heavy hands. Oh, and a beautiful body shot there. Did he get him?
Yes.
Low? It was just a good body shot.
No, straight to the midsection. A drive right down the middle has knocked down his opponent. It's good. 9 Charlie there.
It is over. Sometimes you get winded. We saw it happen once to Caballo, who's one of the greatest in the country. That was obviously against Kolar. You can sometimes just get hit in a shot which shocks the body. And we've just seen that tonight for our first fight of big-time boxing.
He's a special fighter, this kid. He's a super middleweight. This is his pro debut. He's 1-0 now. His nickname's The Brick, and he's from a great camp down there with Dave Hegarty and also Darren Cowley at Tarney Boxing. Definitely one to watch at 24 years of age.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? We've got to say to all the boxing lovers out there, our deepest condolences to David Hegarty, all the family and friends of Dwight, Richie, who was tragically killed or tragically passed away, I should say, after fighting. And to all the boxing fans out there is a big fundraiser next week, which we'll speak about later tonight. It is Sunday next week on December the 1st, I think it is. It's going to be a huge fundraiser for Dwight Richie's family. So we want to wish his family and friends our deepest condolences. David Hegarty, who's in the corner at the moment, he's coach, of course. So that was also something that shocked the boxing world over the coming weeks, as John Libicoli will announce the winner. It's an emotional sport, the boxing. As we go to Feterika.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes and 21 seconds in the very first round. This fight ended, declaring a winner by knockout, blue corner, Parek, the Brick Wall.
So a really good stop there, and she got the win by TKO. Yeah.
Fighting out of the red corner, Kitti, Patkham. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, Mason Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, your following contest is bout number 2 on the card. We are live at Big Time Boxing. 4 by 3-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, trained by Matt Ball and the team out of the Smack Gym, with an official weight of 65.6 kilograms. Wearing white trunks with gold and blue. Tonight, this man makes his pro boxing debut and fights out of Somerville by way of Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, Kitti Patkham. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, trained by Ivan Raffo and Dave Hegarty out of Raffo's Fight Gym, with an official weight of 66.4 kilograms. Wearing white trunks with black and gold. He's had 1 fight, 1 win. That win coming by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Werribee, ladies and gentlemen, Mason Smith. When the action begins, your man in charge in the centre of the ring, Mr. Malcolm Bullner.
Fight number 2, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the Melbourne Pavilion. Once again, for those who have just joined us on Epicenter TV, Matthew Pilios here with Jordan Bellerini and Jayden. That was John DeMcCauley. This one will be a beauty. Our early winner was Parek, but this one a more even fight, no doubt. Mason Smith taking on Kitti Pacman. Pacman's very strong in the lower body, and the big rangy Mason Smith. And this one will be beauty. Smith in the white with the black trunks. A Paris production. It's a huge night tonight for everyone, and we've had a good start to the evening. Guys, I'm still so pumped for our last 3 title fights tonight. Once again, Jordan, I'll mention, and Brent Rice taking on Gaige for the Australian lightweight title, for the female Aussie super welterweight title. It's 2 of the best females you'll see athletes, Tayla Harris and Janay Harding, and the heavyweight Aussie title. If you're old, you're young, you remember Joe Bugner, you remember Jimmy Thunder, you remember all the great heavyweights over the decades. This one is for the Australian title. It is Faiga Opelu, our Frank Bianco Cup winner, taking on Victoria Melbourne boy from Craigieburn, Christopher Terzievski. It's going to be a huge fight. Terzievski's toughest test ever, and Faiga Opelu is an absolute thrashing machine. So it's going to be unbelievable. We're here at Big Time Boxing, and this one started very well. I like the aggressiveness of Mason Smith, gents.
Yeah, Mason Smith's a southpaw. He likes to use that jab, lengthens the jab, measures up his opponent and throws it straight left down the middle. But he's coming up against no slouch tonight in Kitti Patkham, who's had about 20 Muay Thai fights this year, and he fought a rebellion 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
you can definitely see the Muay Thai stance there on Kitti Pacman, but Mason Smith is just putting it on him here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's different sports. If it was Muay Thai, might be a lot different, but Mason's just so confident with his hands, already controlling the centre of the ring.
You could see by the way he walked out and circumnavigated the whole ring that he was very confident.
He had 40 amateur fights, Mason Smith, so he comes from a decent amateur pedigree, but broke his hand in August, so he's coming back from a hand injury.
Both guys aren't really on their toes, though. They're both very confident, flat-footed. And I'd just like to give a big shout-out to Julian Holland, the former Aussie Commonwealth champion, who generally is our fight expert, or former fighter on the panel, so on the commentary team. So Julian will be back. But, yeah, both guys more flat-footed, very confident, that means, in their punching ability.
He's very composed in centre ring, and Mason Smith, when he lets his hands go, he's a real exciting fighter. But this Thai here in Patkham, he's a durable fighter, and I think he's going to see out the 4 rounds against Mason Smith.
Patkam's got a big right hand, so he's probably just trying to see where Smith goes, test the range out, but look out for the big overhand right.
Certainly looks like he's trying to get that overhand right in, but it just looks like Mason Smith is controlling the centre of the octagon, or he was before. He might want to get back in there now.
At the moment, the man from Pattaya seeming a little gun shy, and Mason Smith, all the sort of the volumes coming from his gloves, Matty Pilios.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just surprised that everyone's fight style is different, but the lack of head movement and the lack of footwork, Mason Smith really is backing his power. For a rangy guy, he must be really strong through the hips. He's saying, I'm going to stand here flat-footed, and I'm going to trade with you. That means I'm really confident how heavy my hands are.
Absolutely. I think if he can keep him on the end of his range and keep hitting him with those long, straight punches, he'll be a good chance to win this fight.
Yeah, beautifully said. And what a great start.
First round. Kitti Patkham, Mason Smith. The gorgeous Kolar in the center of the ring. Your Big Time Boxing ring card girls. A special card, 8 fights.
Turn around. Big Time Boxing tonight here at the Melbourne Pavilion.
Round 1, round 2.
Round 2.
Comfortable first round there for Mason Smith. Unofficially of giving him the first round 10-9. So the Thai really needs to start picking it up, the man from Pattaya.
Yeah, correct.
I think Mason Smith's also doing a good job of not expending too much energy. As you said, he's not moving his head too much and stuff, so he's not expending too much energy on those punches.
Yeah, he'll definitely just try to preserve his energy. Again, Mason right in front of him. It's outstanding. They're both basically saying, here to trade, here's putting my fists up. But I think he's waiting for Kitti to explode. So a big-time boxing ring here has definitely got these two ready. Just for the fighters too, we've got Melbourne boy Khalid Baker taking on Waiwit Nariku next. Khalid's, I think, hardest fight of his career since his comeback, Geordie. Ivan Kolar takes on Plugger Joseph, Jayden Nichols. He's got a few names, the big fella. We love him there from Tasmania. Marvyn Feterika takes on Ratu, Vitukawalu. That will be an absolute beauty. Then our 3 title fights as we get into the second round here. And Mason Smith again, just looks like he's starting to pick him apart a little bit.
Really in cruise control in centre and really pumping the jab out and lining up his opponent here in the first couple of rounds. No major punches from the left hand, but he's in cruise control, the man from Werribee.
Oh,
this is
that's
very interesting
power
here to see how he's going to respond to being exploded on like we've been talking about. This has been coming all fight.
Yeah, he just kept his patience there. But both guys exchanging. Both guys back in their power.
We're going to see Mason Smith get a little bit more tired here as well. I said he's been preserving his energy well, but now he's forced to defend a little bit more and throw more punches.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah, the big question is, how's Mason Smith on the back foot? He's all right on the front foot. He looks good on the front foot, but when his Thai opponent tests him, how's he going to sort of react?
And the crowd just went berserk very early in the night for the big-time boxing event. And the Melbourne Pavilion started to erupt then. It was great trade. Both guys, definitely Paktham's best combinations of the night, guys.
He's doing quite well in the second half of the second round, but you look at Mason Smith, great training camp sparring Emmanuel Chol, who was meant to be on the card, and also Parek, who was the winner in the first fight. So he's ready for this matchup. Just missing with those left hands there, Mason Smith. He's missing the target a little bit more here in the second round.
And I just reckon Paktan is starting to tire a little bit. He's obviously very thick, different style fighting, using his upper body a lot more than his legs. So, but it just danced a bit then. So he's starting to get in the pockets, finding some urgency.
I would say with all of those explosive movements as well, coming in, coming out, ducking, throwing big, heavy shots as well, he'd be really feeling the pressure now.
One thing about Patkham, he's a switch hitter. He changes from southpaw to orthodox throughout the fight, gives his opponent a different look.
Ladies and gentlemen.
For me, unofficially on the scorecard, probably got a 2-0 in favour of Mason Smith in the blue corner.
Oh, I agree. I think Smith has done it all, and just breathing heavily. Kitti Paktam as well. He'll want to really preserve his punches here.
You look at the ring generalship in the blue corner, it's all Mason Smith there, Dave Hegarty's boy. Seems like he's definitely got a lot left in the tank in the final 2 rounds.
Yeah, not breathing that heavily.
It'll certainly be very interesting. It does look like Patkham is breathing quite heavily. However, he did put it to Mason Smith a lot more that round, 100%. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the third round.
100%. Once again, Dwight Richie will have an amazing tribute and family fundraiser on December the 1st.
Round 3.
And of course, it goes to show the generosity of the boxing community that so much money has already been raised for his GoFundMe as a part of the Team Alice initiative.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they had the Dwight Richie Cup last week, the main event there on Team Alice, and raised a lot of money there. Mitch Leake was the winner. But back to the action here in the third round, and things are heating up, Matty Pilios.
They are, and Mason's come out very heavily. And I just reckon too, Paktam, he's fought a lot of tough fighters in his day. And he'll back himself there. Smith just looks like the bigger man. You know, sometimes when you're rangy, you can do your weighing last night. A bigger, taller guy can sometimes put on 4 to 5 kilograms. And he just looks really strong in the upper body, Smith. So a very good corner. And, you know, Hegarty and the boys there in the western suburbs do an amazing job. Big Darren Harlan, there's some tough boys out there. Woody, of course.
Yeah, definitely a talented fighter, Mason Smith, using the jab, working behind the jab, but he's also a state and Golden Gloves champion in the amateurs.
Yeah, he was very good. A lot of amateur fights. He's just got to watch out for that overhand right and just changing levels to beautifully then.
He's going upstairs and downstairs. Got a clubbing left hand that he landed moments ago. And you've got Malcolm Borner in centre ring, very experienced campaigner.
He's been around for a long time. Since I started commentating 7-8 years ago, he's always been a referee, Big Malcolm.
Patkam's definitely come out firing out of the blocks here. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this up because he really is moving in there.
He is. And he had to. He had to start moving his head. He had to start respecting the power of Mason Smith.
Definitely gaining in confidence, the man in Pattaya, or from Pattaya, currently residing out of Queensland. Beautiful left hand there from Mason Smith. That was definitely the best punch for him in this third round, Matt Pilios.
Yeah, really good. And it got him in the corner now. He's in big trouble. Watch the uppercuts of Smith here.
Smith just displaying them better pure boxing skills. Obviously, Patkham has had a few Muay Thai fights, but you can see the boxing skills are a little bit ahead here by Smith.
Importantly, he's keeping him guessing. You can just see Patkham doesn't know what's coming. He's mixing him up. He's throwing hooks, uppercuts. It was just that big left there, just missed Smith.
Patkham was in Queensland, but now currently training at a Smack gym in Somerville under Matthew Ball. And Matthew Ball went over to France with Sugarcane Watts to be in his corner for that world title fight last week against Arsene Goulamirian.
Yes, huge. And we saw Sugarcane Watts. Just give him a shout out. Watched that fight last week. I thought he did unbelievable. There were some times he exchanged really well in that fight in France. And a great effort by Sugarcane Watts. Obviously took that body shot in the 4th round, but I thought he was solid as a rock and made Australia proud last week.
Absolutely, and he definitely had Arsene Goulamirian scared a few times with that big clubbing right hand of his, but then Goulamirian just landed this perfect body shot straight to the liver, and
And I thought the young fella did a very good round there.
This is the 4th and final round.
4th and final round.
3 rounds up, Mason Smith, I would imagine, so he would probably try and coast here and avoid getting any damage inflicted on him.
It doesn't need to take any risk at this point in time. Mason Smith from Hegarty's gym just needs to sit back on the lead and just sort of comfortably see out the round. But we'll see if Patkham puts the foot on the throttle and comes forward.
Boys, it depends on the mentality as well. Some fighters might say, I want to knock this guy out. And if I get knocked out trying, you know what, instead of having a safe win, I'll have an unbelievable, spectacular win. It might rise him through the ranks even quicker.
Absolutely, and he'll be wanting to display his boxing skills tonight and really put it all on show.
Yeah, the big question is, does Mason Smith want a highlight reel knockout, the second knockout of his career after defeating another Thai in Ankh Nan in August last year? Beautiful right hook there from Mason Smith, and he's on his bike, moving evasively here tonight at the Melbourne Pavilion.
Definitely not resting on his laurels here. I think that his coaches probably would have told him to just coast and just get the victory, but he looks like he's still putting it on his opponent.
Yeah, definitely looking like a man possessed here in the 4th round. Try to sort of back up his opponent onto the ropes. But he's a durable fighter. We said that at the start of the fight, that the 31-year-old from Pattaya will put up a gallant effort, and he's doing that, Jake Edgington.
Absolutely. Mason Smith just looks like a very confident boxer, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the future as well. Not writing off his opponent yet, but definitely excited about Mason Smith.
Yeah, only 24 years of age. Matt Pilios definitely got a high ceiling level at 24.
For sure, and he comes out one of the best camps again. Hegarty's trained them all, and with Woody there, and just all those amateur fights as well at a young age. You know, he's got the skills to go hard and just the confidence to have a fighter this young going forward the way he has.
Interesting little battle here in this 4th round. We've seen Kitti Patkham try and put it on him again, but Mason Smith has returned fire.
Kitti landed a good right before. Mason's come back in. It's sort of like it's shaking the giant up. Oh, and a big left there by Kitti. So, and when he's back in the corner, it looks like he fights his best when he's defending himself. Oh, they left both guys. Beautiful exchange then. And they're both cementing their feet, guys, and exchanging. Shows how tough they are. And I reckon Patkham got hurt there. He's got to circle away.
Beautiful clubbing left hand there moments ago from Mason Smith, the 24-year-old, and Malcolm Borner gets back in centre ring and brings both fighters to centre ring.
And Smith's chin's tested this round, so it shows that he can take a punch.
He's definitely stood in there and really traded with his opponent this round, so it's been a fantastic round, much better than I would have anticipated, actually.
Yeah, the crowd are absolutely on their feet so early in the fight night.
Definitely entertaining with a capital E this sort of fourth and final round. And look at Mason Smith there on the break. A couple of chopping left hands, and Malcolm Borner, the experienced campaigner, warns him. 10 seconds remaining here. Second fight on Big Time Boxing, live on Epicenter.tv, and both fighters will bring it to the contest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Did not want to leave that in the judge's hands.
Mason Smith.
Great last round, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, of the 4 rounds of professional boxing, we've gone to the judges' scorecards. Your first judge scored the contest 39-37. Your second and third judge scored the contest 40-36, declaring winner via unanimous points decision from the blue corner, Mason Smith.
Big win for Mason Smith. We did call it, boys.
Player there.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, bout number 3 on the card, fighting out of the red corner, Waiwit, Nareeruk. Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, Khalid, Pretty Boy Baker. Ladies and gentlemen, your following bout is bout number 3 on the card. Tonight's fights are brought to you by Big Time Boxing. 6 by 3-minute rounds in the cruiserweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, trained by Sadudee, out of the Bangkok Brawlers Boxing Gym, with an official weight of 81.5 kilograms, wearing the black and gold boxing trunks. He's had 4 fights and fights out of northeast Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, Waiwit, Nareeruk. And across the ring, his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, trained by Peter Hatton, out of Fighters Express. Last night of the weigh-in, this man came in at 88.9 kilograms, wearing the red trunks with white. He is undefeated, 4 fights, 4 wins, 3 wins coming by way of Naga. Representing Melbourne's western suburbs, he is the current Victorian Regional Champion. He is Khalid Pretty Boy Baker. And when the action begins, your man in charge in the center of the ring, Mr. Ignatius Miscellanies.
And as they go to the centre of the ring, it is Khalid Baker taking on Waiwit Nariku. He is an experienced seasoned fighter in his yellow Richmond football colour, I should say, for the Melburnians. Short coloured shorts. Baker, you know, he's fitter than ever. It's always, the first fight I'll never forget, he came out puffing and swinging. He obviously had a tough start to adult life. He's back with a vengeance, and they love him in Melbourne. And I think now this is fight number 4 for Baker this year. So, 5th one. Thank you, Jordan. That's why you are the stats king.
Yeah, the 5th fight for the year, and
unbelievable.
He's got a 7-fight contract with Big Time Boxing, so definitely one of their favourite sons there under Brian Armatruda. But you look at his opponent, Waiwit Nareeruk, has been inactive for 1 year. His last fight was against Walid Hadara in November last year.
Yes, I think right here as well, right on a year ago. And Jake, one thing about Baker is as well, for all the fans watching on Epicenter TV, the greatest dancer I've seen for a boxer. Let me tell you, this man can dance, trained by Peter Hatton and the team as well.
I'd love to have moves like him, I tell you that, boys. But his opponent here has fought the likes of Eman Carlos, Dave Drapak, Walid Hadara, so he's been in the ring with some of the best.
Boy.
Yeah, he's been in with Eman Carlos. He fought Eman at super middleweight, but tonight at cruiserweight, so up a couple of divisions there. And Khalid Baker switching to the southpaw stance, Matty Pilios.
Yeah, Baker's, you know, he's a big boy. He weighed in last night, fairly strong. He's very solid. He's undefeated, 89 kilograms. So he's got a couple of kilos tonight, but now our Waiwit Nareeruk's always fought a bigger man and is very thick in the midsection. But Baker, this is a big test for him against someone seasoned.
Baker very top heavy and quite light in the legs, so he moves very well and hits very hard.
He threw some heavy body shots, and let me tell you, when you're fresh and you're a big boy like that, he had his hands low for an overhand, but hard body shots by Khalid Baker.
His opponent's smiling, but I doubt he's enjoying it.
Yeah, his Thai opponent, Nareeruk's definitely going to give him a good workout here tonight. He's gone the distance against Hadara and also went a couple of rounds there against Mitch Kitson. But definitely on paper, Khalid Baker is the favourite in this matchup. Yeah,
definitely. And you mentioned Hadara before. Walid, God, his last fight was unbelievable. He's just on fire. He's an explosive man who can do it all, Walid Hadara, and I've been great to see him. He's knocked a few out, so surprised. It was good. Would have been good to have him on tonight. His first night on a big-time boxing card. We haven't had Walid on for a night, but Khalid Baker, his close friend, has a big crowd here tonight. So I want to see Baker probably use more footwork on his toes. We generally see him sort of dancing around a bit. He just seems a little bit more flat-footed generally than we'd see Khalid Baker.
Yeah, looking a little bit flat-footed tonight, but definitely the punch volume in favour of the man in the red trunks there from the western suburbs, now under Peter Hatton out of Fighters Express.
As I said, that his coach has shouted out as well, and he's starting now to dance around. And sometimes when you back your power against your opponent, you're happy to put your feet flat because you back your power. So I think Baker, a bit of confidence there, but his corner said, stay on your toes and move around. As all of a sudden now, well, you wouldn't believe it, Waiwit Nariku is starting to take control of the centre of the ring.
I think we saw Baker leading with some heavy shots before, and normally
seconds down, this one, round number 2.
just watching Peter Hatton there telling Khalid to get in, get out, move around more, as we were saying before. So I think we'll find that he obliges.
And Khalid not liking to be, he's been given a little bit of a pep talk by Hatton, and that was about an 11-punch combination, let me tell you. And it does take a little of energy out of you, but that was beautiful, and did rattle Nareeruk a little bit as well.
Yeah, he's got a granite chin, though, the Thai, but Khalid Baker, definitely a flamboyant start. You know, he's sometimes a slow starter. If you remember, in April of this year, he got knocked down in the first round by Aaron Ross from Mildura.
He did. Ross stunned the whole stadium that night.
And then came back to get a 6-round stoppage. Oh, nice combinations there from Khalid Baker in the red corner, Matt Pilios.
Yeah, and Nareeruk is in trouble there, and his experience there was able to wrap him up. And Baker's going to be smart with his energy levels here, but he knows he's got that power.
He certainly looks confident. Doesn't look like he wants to stick around for the festivities tonight. He looks like he wants to get in and get out.
Mate, let me tell you, he's a fighter who likes to end the fights fast, hard and quick. But he has a seasoned opponent here who knows how to slip a lot of big punches. So
and he certainly has to watch for that counter.
Correct. Let me tell you, Nareeruk has got good power in his right. There's a good body shot there. And his blue Nikes there and dancing around very, very well, Waiwit Nareeruk.
I've just noticed those.
Both boys slicked up tonight, let me tell you, in big-time boxing.
This is a 6 by 3 minute fight, so it gives Khalid Baker some time to sort of warm into the contest, but he's not wasting any time tonight. Changing from southpaw to orthodox, and a beautiful uppercut there from Khalid Baker out of Fighters Express.
It also tests Baker out as well, tests his cardio. Sometimes I say to fighters, those ugly, and a lot of trainers, you know, you hear them say, those ugly long wins can excel their career. You know, you have a points decision at 5 or 6, or you win late in that 5th or 6th round, but you get that cardio, you get that fight fit. As much as you can spar, once you're under the heat and the lights in front of the big crowd, to go 4, 5, 6 rounds, you can only be good. So maybe his team is maybe hoping to see him get one of those longer wins.
Yeah, that was a wicked left hand moments ago. Beautiful chopping left hand on Nareeruk. But you look at his last... what a right uppercut. Rocked the head back there of Nareeruk. But you look at his last fight, Khalid Baker against Sipong Surt, where he won the Victorian Regional title. It was a tough test for him. Wasn't his best showing, but tonight he's on a different level.
He is. He looks confident, sharp. He's a thick body. You know, he's still... Don't know how much he's carrying around. I mean, obviously in the first year back, getting that really good diet, I reckon his body will get better in the second year of full fighting. But it definitely looks like he has to slow down.
And it looks like Nareeruk is sort of luring him in a little bit as well, 100%. Fellas. He's keeping his hands down and trying to lure him in and smiling at him, which Khalid has jumped out a few times and really collected him on the chin.
Yeah, and you're spot on, because Nareeruk has got to not trade with him. He's got to counter-punch him. And, you know, Khalid was definitely winner of that round, but we've got some good offense from Waiwit today.
Yeah, Nareeruk a little bit more on the back foot, as Jake alluded to, definitely sort of trying to bait him into centre ring and throw that chopping right hand as well as that counter left hook. But for me, still comfortable in terms of ring generalship and cleaner punches landed. It's all coming from Khalid Baker 100%. In the blue corner.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and when you're throwing heavy shots with volume like Khalid was in those rounds, it just has a display of dominance.
What a night it is, guys. Over 2,000 tickets sold for tonight. And I'm looking around the venue, starting to really pack up. Brian Armatruda has done it again. The best promotion in the country. It is, as the big boss walks past the ring. He's very impressed with Jake in the suit. He said, Matt, as usual, leading the younger, more fresher commentary team here tonight.
I saw Jordan Ballerini in his flat cap last week, and I thought I had to do something special here.
What a night. Andy's here in the house as well. Big night. Round number 3. Round number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Big time boxing. Great to be here, Matt Pilios, here with Jake Eddington and Jordan Ballerini, commentator of the year.
Yeah, it was
2019 as well. Congratulations on that award, as Khalid Baker starts very strongly again. Just threw a big right run down the button. You could just see that tried the same tactic as he did in the start of the second round, but Nareeruk was all over it.
I think that Nareeruk gave him a little bit of a test in that first round, so Khalid came out and had to really stamp his authority in that second round. So it's going to be interesting to see the approach that he takes here if he tries to do the same again.
Definitely on his toes here, Khalid Baker, but Ignatius Michelidis, one of the best refs in the business, having a little word to him, the small man from Greece.
Yeah, Athens' favourite son now. I think he used to referee back in Mykonos, big Ignatius. He's on fire there, loves to get involved. And the little fella, good friends of Sam Greco, one of the great world kickboxing champions. Ignatius. So great to have him here. It's just, you look around, there's just some great people around here. You've got Frankie Bianco and just all the team here around. You've got Mick and all the team. There's just a lot of ex-AFL footballers here. Always great. So, yeah, big-time boxing, done it again. It's absolutely packed. The lights are on. It's very Hollywood, Las Vegas feel here in Melbourne.
Absolutely, and I think that Nareeruk has to be very careful here, because when Khalid comes in, Nareeruk is throwing a Philly shell guard, and he's keeping his left hand down, which exposes him to that overhand right by Khalid, so he might get rocked if he keeps on doing that.
I agree.
Yeah, Nareeruk, 40 years of age, a smiling assassin, always smiling in centre ring, but Khalid Baker is definitely putting it on him here tonight, changing the levels downstairs and upstairs, and definitely a different level tonight, Khalid Baker.
Baker, beautiful then, just changed those levels well, just missed that uppercut. You can see he's really focused tonight. He knows he's a solid opponent here.
Nareeruk's talking to him and laughing at him, and Khalid's not taking the bait right now, which is good.
Yeah.
You look at the cruiserweight division in Australia, and Khalid Baker wants some of those big domestic fights. The likes of Mark Bam Bam Flanagan, Jai Opataya, Jason Waitley. These are some of the names maybe Khalid Baker could come up against in the next 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. There's some big names there.
You would certainly hope that would be the progression for Baker.
Former Victorian and Australian amateur champion Khalid Baker, easy to forget, and also was going to qualify for the 2006 Commonwealth Games, but we know what happened there. Was 13 years in prison, but he's back now and back with a vengeance. Lost years there.
Yeah, an absolute tragedy there, but his attitude is second to none. He's got the state behind him, and you know, it's a great story in the end. With hopefully he leads a successful lifestyle. Oh, uppercut landed there. Let's have a look. That definitely landed. He's in trouble. Yeah, he's smiled. But just, you got to watch his legs here. He's got a tough chin, but he was shaky legs, went straight down.
It very briefly knocked the smile off his face.
It was a short uppercut, boys, and a great show of respect. And sometimes you can be tough with just a natural reaction when you get hit. So
Pretty boy Baker
shows how tough he is getting up so quickly, guys. But first knockout of the fight.
Yeah, first knockdown of the fight in round number 3. So a 10-8 round there for Khalid Baker, and he's definitely in an unassailable lead heading into the 4th round.
And you alluded to before that Khalid has a great following as well with his story. And it's amazing to see somebody who fights 4 rounds and 6 rounds to have such a following.
Yeah, this early on in their career, only into the the 5th fight of the career under big time boxing banner, and to have this following is definitely big for him heading into the future in terms of those domestic cruiser. Into the sort of big pointy end of the fight here, round number 4, and Khalid Baker for me is probably 4 points up.
Just goes to show the quality of the fights on big time boxing cards.
Unbelievable, this early, how good are they? Guys, this is our 3rd fight of the evening. Imagine how we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Shame that there's been a late pull-out. David Drapak, he's one of the best too in the state and country, so you know, he was pretty upset. It's a fight game. Obviously the doctor didn't give his opponent the okay.
These things can happen in boxing, but he was going to fight for the Victorian light heavyweight title against Sonny Michelangelo from the Congo, who's an experienced campaigner and on the Contender Series number 2. So that was a mouth-watering clash on the card, but Drapatch will sort of maybe fight in early 2020, I think.
Yeah, we'll get him back on big-time boxing straight away. Brian Armatura and his team will look after him. And Baker came out exposed. There was a big trade early this round. It's starting to heat up.
I was certainly ready to go for that Drapak fight as well. That was shaping up to be a mouth-watering contest as we get sprayed with sweat, boys.
Yeah, I know, always happens. First time of the evening. And for those who have just come to Epicenter TV, great to have you, A Paris Production, and putting this together tonight on Big Time Boxing here in Melbourne. Packed 2,500 people here in the Pavilion. It is absolutely chockers here. 3 title fights tonight. A heavyweight title on the line. Faiga Opelu takes on Kris Terzievski. Opelu from Queensland. Oh, and Baker. Big punches there. I cannot believe that Nareeruk is smiling. Baker can't believe it either. Sometimes that can even dampen your spirit. Baker saying, what do I have to do to put this man to sleep. So big punches there. And as I was talking, 3 title fights. Our lightweight title, Brent Rice and Gaige Island. But our female Aussie super welterweight title, AFL superstar Tayla Harris takes on Janay Harding. Fighter has fought all across the world. A rematch of these two as well at super heavyweight, so super welterweight, excuse me. So it's a huge fight night, I should say. 3 title fights tonight in Melbourne, big time boxing.
You look at Khalid Baker, he's on his toes, he's watching like a hawk. One thing I'm very impressed with tonight of Khalid Baker is his defensive work. Hasn't got hit much by Waiwit Nareeruk and using that left hook like a wand.
Absolutely, Nareeruk has to be careful here because he keeps on putting his hands down, and Khalid's got him with some big shots. He may be laughing and smiling, but he is only human.
Yeah, correct. Sometimes, more times than not, you see a fighter smile and they're hurt. And shows how tough. Sometimes you be too tough as well. But Baker's got heavy hands. He still feels like he's got that power.
He's got blistering hand speed, and he's changing from orthodox to southpaw, keeping his Thai opponent guessing throughout the contest, and we are round number 4 right now.
My concern with Khalid is, and this is why it's going to be good for him to get through these rounds and get tested, he's thick in the upper chest and back area. And when you're extra thick in that chest area and all that, you have extra power.
That is in round number 4.
But do you have that cardio to go round 5, round 6? That's 4 rounds down.
The one and only Jordan.
It is a lot for the legs to carry.
On our commentary panel here tonight, Paris Productions.
As John Nicole
on the planet. The Gorgeous Storm and Melania Ring-Card Girls in center ring.
As I say, yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. You see Baker's tired. I'd be having his arms above it, windpiping him. And it's really going to test the boy, because these 3-minute rounds are going to feel like 5 minutes for him.
Yeah, definitely. But Peter Hatton giving him a good rev up there, heading into the 5th round. One of the best trainers in the business out of the southeast, Peter Hatton.
He was a tough fighter in the 90s, let me tell you. They called him Pistol Pete. Big Pete Hatton. And, mate, you don't want to be sprayed by Pete, let me tell you. He was one of the toughest in the late 90s, early 2000s. A very good Australian kickboxer, Peter Hatton. And he's really given Khalid...
Round number 5.
Expect Baker to go for this knockout early this round.
Yeah, he's putting it on him, really lighting up his opponent here in the early stages of the 5th round. But the smiling assassin, the 40-year-old from Chayafum in northeast Thailand, is a durable fighter.
Just watching Peter Hatton in the corner there, and it looked as though he was alluding to Nareeruk's left arm dropping down, and that overhand right is really on for Khalid here, so don't be surprised to see that here, fellas.
He's landed 2 this round. There's the big right. Oh, he's down. Is it a push? No count.
It looked like a knockdown to me.
Yeah, Michelides didn't see, usually got one of the best sort of vision in the world. Ignatius Michelides, beautiful sort of chopping right hand, but Michelides has ruled it as sort of a back hit there from Khalid Baker out of Fighters Express.
I don't know, it was either a knockdown or it was a hard push. He didn't seem to get right. I didn't see his face move back like I did that uppercut, but an interesting one. It won't pay, but I think, it's all Baker. It's just Baker's last minute of every round now, how his cardio is. That's when I think Nareeruk's trying to weather the storm and fight back.
I think that just watching Peter Hatton there as well, it looked like he was very serious with Khalid, because Khalid looks like he's having a lot of fun in there.
Yep.
However, he's got to stay serious and take his opponent 100%. Seriously here.
That was definitely the best flurry there in the red corner from Khalid Baker, and you can see in his eyes he means business here tonight in the 5th round.
He gave that a lot, mate, and he's sort of getting his breath back. So it'll be interesting to see how the next 30 seconds go for Baker, because he gave that everything. His mouth's open, which means he's tired. And this is, again, as I say, a great test for Khalid.
Yeah, definitely. Coming up against this durable fighter who's willing to sit in the pocket and go toe-to-toe with Khalid.
100%.
Khalid is landing some heavy shots in this round, boys.
Khalid looked at his corner and said, what do I have to do? Big uppercut.
He has to be careful, though, because if Khalid tries to lead with these big shots and overextend himself, his opponent can definitely counter him, and Khalid is only human.
100%. And I reckon he feels that. He's so seasoned and experienced. He's starting to go, I'll tire him out, and I'll try to pick him apart, and he'll try to hit him low. So this is
the Homer Simpson tactic.
Correct.
Beautiful change in levels there from Khalid Baker, and he goes back to the southpaw stance, changing the angles on Nareeruk. And the 40-year-old is putting up a gallant effort, but in terms of points and rounds 1, for me, it's a whitewash so far.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And I would say, boys, this is Khalid's first time going 6 rounds, so
100%.
his mouth is wide open and he's leading with big shots, so you'd have to be careful if you were Khalid here.
Yeah.
He does look tired.
100%. Oh, good left there.
Beautiful counter left hook there from Waiwit. Nareeruk in the final 10 seconds here, and he tried to go for a flurry there, but the opponent there in Nareeruk wrapped him up.
I think Peter Hatton will be very happy to have Khalid back in the
Let's
corner.
in round number 5.
I think it was, so good luck again, and great to have you replacing Julian Holland and part of the
This
future.
is the 6th
And on
and
the train
final
to Paul Byfield
round.
as we see the boys embrace with a big hug at the start of the round.
Yeah,
A mutual show of
sensational.
respect here.
Sensational. 6th and final round here on Epicenter TV. Matt Pilios here with Jordan Ballerini and Jay Eddington, and it's Khalid Baker in the red trunks and Waiwit Nareeruk in the yellow and black. And what a fight it's been. Entertaining for sure, and getting interesting late in this fight.
All comes down to this. Khalid Baker, for me, is in an unassailable lead, and for Nareeruk Turin, needs a knockout in this last round. And you never know in boxing, you're only one punch away from disaster.
Beautifully said there. Oh, Baker explodes. We expected that.
Beautiful hand speed there from Khalid Baker from the southpaw stance here tonight. Throughout the majority of the fight, he's been in that southpaw stance, Jake Edgington.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see because Khalid looked very tired at the end of that last round. It looked like Peter Hatton has put it on him a little bit in the corner, and now he's come out and those chicken legs are firing, boys.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely be interesting to see where it here.
Yeah, he's fleet-footed, Khalid Baker, and he's going toe-to-toe, trying to land that right uppercut that sort of grazed the face there in Nareeruk, but now the trend has changed and the tie is on the front foot.
Yeah, Waiwit's just confident. He's saying, you know what, I don't reckon I can get knocked down. I'm going to come forward for 2.5 minutes. So dangerous here for Baker. Oh, good uppercut.
Yeah, that split the guard, but look at the smiling assassin. He's smiling all night here tonight, and Khalid Baker, his head movement has been on point, and his defensive work has been a different class, but what a left hook there from Khalid Baker, Peter Hatton's boy. He means business in this 6th and final round.
Nareeruk certainly has to be careful there. Where you don't want to be in a boxing fight is leaning back with your chin out, walking backwards, boys, and he's done that a few times, and Khalid just hasn't quite capitalised yet.
Let's see Baker how he finishes off. Knows he's pushed the energy levels here. Good left. One of his best shots for a couple of rounds.
A few chopping right hands there on the inside from Khalid Baker, and the Greek there in Ignatius Michalidis will separate, and the Spartan warrior, I'll call him tonight, Ignatius Michalidis.
Former flyweight boxer, now referee. I think he was a Greece champion back in the late 80s, big Ignatius. Now refereeing in Melbourne. Great to be a huge crowd. You look around it again, unbelievable. And
he said that Khalid Baker was on a different level tonight, and perhaps something to do with that is the fact that he's been training with Danny Green.
Yeah, saw that as well. Great. Oh, and there's some of those uppercuts landed.
Big flurry of punches there. Nareeruk goes for the hold.
Lucky to wrap him up. Baker just wants a brawl here, not get him explode. They were good punches.
Yeah, definitely going to be in the highlights in that 6th and final round, that flurry from Khalid Baker. Now we've got about 5 seconds remaining, and he went for the overhand right that just missed the head there. But Khalid Baker, for me, Matt Pilios, has done enough here tonight.
It is over. He definitely has.
It's only the third. Before we go to the judges' scorecards, I'd like everyone to know that this was supposed to be a 4-round fight tonight. Thanks to both boxers for going for the 6 rounds. But after 6 rounds of action, we've gone to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored the contest 60-53, declaring winner via unanimous points decision, and still undefeated, blue corner, Khalid, ready by Baker. We're going to keep it rolling in the center of the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Bout number 4 on the card, fighting out of the red corner, Ivan Kolar.
45 by my scrotum, manifested through a dot slogan. My niggas rolling 10 M3s, 20 guards popping willies on Kawasaki's. Hip hop's got me on solo, spraying shots like a drum roll. Playing out, never miscount the shells my gun on. I don't stunt, I regulate.
Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, Jayden Joseph. Ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 4 on the card of Big Time Boxing right here at the Melbourne Pavilion. This fight brought to you by Big Time Boxing, 6x3-minute rounds in the cruiserweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, trained by Michael Herman, out of the Aboriginal Sobriety Boxing Club, with an official weight of 90.05 kilograms, wearing the black trunks with gold, red and white. He's had 7 fights out of South Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, Ivan Kolar. And across the ring, he's opponent fighting out of the blue corner, trained by Adrian Lovell, Big Pony and Tweeds Millwood, out of Brighton Fighting and Fitness, with an official weight of 90.3 kilograms. Wearing the Aussie flag trunks with the golden plugger emblazoned across the front. A record of 13 fights. 9 wins, 1 draw, 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Hobart in Tasmania, he is the former ANBF Australian champion and the current Tasmanian state champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Jayden Joseph. When the action begins, your man in charge in the center of the ring, Mr. Malcolm Baldwin.
As both fighters go to the centre of the ring, this is going to be a beauty. Great to be here in Big Time Boxing. Matt Pilios with Jordan Bellerini and Jake Ednington. And it is Ivan Kolar taking on Jayden Nichols, otherwise known as Plugger Joseph, the boy from Tasmania, with very, very heavy hands. You look at him, doesn't look like the most athletic fighter, but let me tell you, very durable, very fit, and can throw punches. So this will be a beauty. It's the tough Croatian taking on the young Aussie from, oh, they're all Aussies really, but the young boy from Tasmania. And, you know, Joseph went 7 rounds with Kane Watts. He's been really, really good the last couple of years. His improvements out of sight. But let me tell you, good big male that Kolar is a very tough, seasoned fighter. He's had a few professional losses, but a very tough boy and an experienced fighter.
He's been in with some good domestic sort of fighters, the likes of Ray Dimachki and also Kyle Webb as well, a southpaw with 7 wins and 2 draws. But he's coming up against Jayden Joseph, who's the current Tasmanian cruiserweight champion and a former ANBF Australasian champion on the cruiserweight scene. So it's going to be a tough test. The favourite in this one is Jayden Joseph, with those 9 wins, 3 losses and 1 draw. But Jayden Joseph, this is more of a tune-up fight for him. He's just lost to Daniel Russell in August, and he's trying to get back on the winner's circle.
Yeah, I agree. It's a big fight here for Joseph. I mean, you're fighting a 39-year-old. Yes, Kolar, he's had a lot of wins and losses. I think he had about 20-plus amateur fights, if I remember. But he's a guy who has heavy hands and is a smart fighter. Joseph really needs to make a statement. He's a young guy on the way up. He wants to say to people, I defeated him and defeated him well to finish off 2019.
And I'm loving the aesthetics here, fellas. We've got Big Ivan with the Croatian colours on his left ankle and the Union Jack on his right ankle. And then it does not get much more Aussie than Plugger, who's wearing the Australian shorts and came out with the Australian gown on as well.
Yeah, he's a very, the Americans, you say, patriot Pluggers like that as well for the Aussies. And let me tell you, some of the tough Croatian club in Melbourne tables over there. Ned Veržić, one of the best boxers and street fighters you'd seen in a long time, just behind us here in big-time boxing. So the Croatians are here at the Melbourne Pavilion, always at big-time boxing as well. So it's a great night. If you can hear the noise, it's absolutely packed here at the Melbourne Pavilion.
One thing about Jayden Joseph, he really lets his hands go. He's got blistering hand speed for a cruiserweight and has fought some of the best, as we mentioned, Sugarcane Watts, Daniel Russell. And if you remember last year, he fought Ben Kelleher for the Australian title.
Big fight that was, yeah. That was a big fight against Kelleher.
At the moment, dictating proceedings, going down. Says he changes levels nicely, the man from Tasmania there, Clarendon Vale in Hobart. And he needs not just a win tonight, he needs to make a statement via knockout.
Absolutely, and Jayden Plugger Joseph is just 26 years old and he's 9-3, former Australian champion, so he's about to hit his physical peak as well, boys.
I think so. He loves to come in with his head forward. He just wore some big punches there off Ivan, so he's got to be careful. He's back in his power, but I reckon Ivan got him walking in a few times, so he's trying to land that big shot, Plugger Joseph.
I think that Ivan's finding his range a little bit better in this round as well. As it started, Plugger was landing some big shots, and it looked like Ivan was really struggling to handle that power.
Yeah, comfortable round there for Plugger Joseph, 10-9 unofficially. But you look at Ivan Kolar, his last fight was 2 years ago against Shane Tuck on the Anthony Mundine, Danny Green undercard.
That's right, it was too. Good memory, Jordan.
170 kilograms of boxing will be displayed on our next bout, which is bout number 5. 8 bouts, big time boxing, right here at the Melbourne Pavilion.
This one again, 6 by 3-minute rounds. Next fight, Ratu Vitukawalu takes on Marvyn Feterika. That will be a beauty. Then we get our 3 title fights, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're warming up, sit back, relax. It is big-time boxing here. This is fight number 4. Once again, Matt Pilios here with Jordan Ballerini and Jake Eddington. It's a huge night tonight in Melbourne. The Aussie heavyweight title. As I said earlier, the heavyweights were the money fights. In America, it was Tyson, it was Ali, it was Joe Frazier. In Australia, we've had some great heavyweight champions. When I was young, guys, it was Joe Bugner, it was Jimmy Thunder, there were some big boys. And now this one, it's Terzievski taking on Faiga Opelu. 2 guys who are in a lighter weight division, around the 102, 105 kilograms, but 2 very impressive Aussie champions.
Yeah, definitely. The winner's going to be the Australian champion. If you remember, Dempsey McKean was the Australian champion, but now there's rumours that he might be fighting Lucas Brown in March next year.
That'll be huge.
Big domestic heavyweight matchup. That's what you want to see from Australian boxing, and they're going to get that on in Gold Coast next year. But back to the action here, and Jayden Joseph, all the sort of ring generalship is in favour of the Tasmanian boy.
But I reckon the winner out of big Lucas Brown and Dempsey, the winner tonight might have a super fight that big time boxing will do later after that. So let's see who wins tonight for the Aussie title. Then we'll get the past champions, you could say, who are fighting against potential current. So it's just a great snowball of fighting for promotions into 2020.
And how exciting to see some real great heavyweight fights on the agenda as well, boys. If you look at their records, Kris Terzievski has 8 wins, 7 KOs. Opelu has 11 wins and 8 KOs. So this is going to be 2 boys who really know how to get knockout wins.
Yeah, definitely the toughest test of Kris Terzievski's career. It's all tonight in the main event, but look at Jayden Plugger Joseph trying to get on the inside and sort of use his physicality against Ivan Kolar, who's definitely been on the back foot, Jake.
Absolutely. It's quite a similar song to the first round here. You just see Jayden Joseph pressing him and landing big shots when he can. Ivan really struggling to find his range.
Yeah, beautifully said, Jay. This is Plugger Joseph's go. He just loves, similar to Watsy actually, he loves that sort of, I'm going to lean on you on a street fight, you're going to have my head in your face, and I'm want to throw heavy hands and a lot of hooks. So this is what he does. He wears, because he's got that power in his punch, whether it's round 2 or round 6, He's got power with his overhand rights and lefts and his body shots. So this is exactly what Joseph wants, but to use his shoulders, use his arms, throw him, use his belly, and I say that in a respectful way as well. He's just got to be careful in his short uppercuts.
He's like a bulldozer, just keeps coming forward. And look at him here, the chopping left and right hand there. But yeah, he fought Sugarcane Watts in, it was a firefight. It was toe-to-toe stuff on big-time boxing in March.
There was a lot of heavy leather landed that fight, that's for sure. But it was Watts in the end, just too tough and classy. And I just want to once again say to all the fight fans out there, our deepest condolences on the loss of Dwight. Richie is one of the best in the country. He fought Tim Zhu. We've got a big fundraiser for him on December the 1st. So as we're in the break, I'll talk about that at 12:30 on Sunday, December the 1st. All the fight community will be there, and it's on dwightrichie.eventbrite.com.au. It's at the Precinct Hotel in Richmond. It's $150 a head, food, drink. We've got a good panel there, and all to raise money. There'll be auctions, there'll be speeches about Dwight. There'll be some celebrities there as well. So that is on Sunday, December the 1st. To anyone watching, the Dwight Richie fundraiser, tragically taken at the age of 28 years of age. So the boxing community mourns, and this is what we're such a great tight community.
Yeah, he was a special fighter, Dwight Richie. You remember last year he had some real mega fights against Joel Camilleri.
That was a great fight. He won against Camilleri.
He beat Camilleri, and also Iman Carlos as well. He won by unanimous decision. So there's some of his big wins, and then he lost to Tim Zhu. But what he did against Tim Zhu, he provided a gallant effort and went all the way with Tim Zhu.
He did, to take on Costa Zhu's son, Tim Zhu, to points. It just showed what an exceptional fighter he was, and it just shows that the fight game is it can be so unforgivable, and these guys are great athletes, and they put in their livelihood on the line. So very tragic, and with the utmost respect, we say to David Hegarty and his team, keep punching, and we're here to support.
Absolutely, and it shows how much the boxing community comes together in this time. It's such a tragic loss for everybody. Jordan and I called his last fight when he did an exhibition against Mitchell Leake here at the Pavilion on the Team Alice card, and we were just saying how much of a great bloke he is for giving Mitchell Leake, a run that night, and it's just a terrible, terrible loss for the community.
Big body shot, beautifully set, Jake, by Plugger, and 3 kids as well. I made mention as well. So importantly, a father and husband. So we do we might have a minute's silence later in the night as well for Dwight Richie. To this fight now, Joseph's come out very aggressively this round.
Yeah, all the artillery, the heavy artillery coming from the man from Clarendon Vale. What a right hand there, but Kolar comes back with a couple of flurries there, Matt Pilios.
They're starting to open up, boys, and these are 2 guys, in my opinion, who don't want to go 6 rounds. I'd love to see a knockout, and both starting to throw their weight around.
I really don't think this is where Ivan wants to be. He does not want to be in tight, exchanging big, heavy shots with Joseph here, because Joseph has the harder punches, and he is finding those little gaps.
Yeah, in the trenches, I think Joseph's going to have the advantage, but you look underneath Kolar's eye, it's reddening up there underneath his right eye, Matt Pilios.
Yeah, he is, and he's just starting to... he's 39 years old, respectfully. It's generally, as you get older, it gets harder to circle, gets harder to do the longer rounds, and, he's had Joseph leaning on him, so he's got a younger, thicker guy. He's just starting to control the centre of the ring.
Joseph's trying to break him down. He's really sort of pumped the body there, chopped the body. Beautiful chopping right hand there to the midsection, and the right uppercut came up top. And look at those combinations. The hand speed from Jayden Joseph, the 26-year-old.
Yeah, Kolar really taking some punches there. I just don't know why he's not circling away from that big right.
I would say so. I'd say he looks very frustrated in tight here, and I would say that he would be best off trying to circle out and get a bit of range going, but it's just so frustrating to have big Joseph, who's got a lot of padding around him, to just on him like a hawk.
Still plenty of time for Joseph to break him down, and that's what he's doing, really trying to chop at the midsection and break down the tree in Ivan Kolar. But Kolar, you can see he's feeling the pace now, has not been active for 2 years, and that's definitely some time coming up against an former Australian cruiserweight champion in Jayden Plugger Joseph.
Definitely. Joseph, he really wants to, after a couple of losses there, really wants to just make sure he's a dominant winner.
Yeah, you look, he had that last loss against Daniel Russell, who's now fighting Jason Waitley for an Australian title in December. And he's looking to get back on the winner's circle, but he's doing a fine job here tonight, heading into the 4th round.
Yeah. Boys, Ivan's not sitting down
here in the Melbourne Pavilion. Big time boxing.
It took some time to sit down there, Ivan Cole. A little bit of George Foreman, who likes to stand up in the corner. But he's back down on his seat listening to his coach there, or trainer, I should say, in Mike Herman out of Aboriginal Sobriety Club in Adelaide. So Cole is from Adelaide, and he's made the trip down to Melbourne here tonight.
Great to have the Adelaide boys. They're a tough crew there, aren't they?
And he did look very frustrated towards the end of that round. Dropped his hands a little bit and sort of heavy breathing inside. So I think he'd be happy to get back to his corner, get a bit of advice and get out there with a new game plan in this third round.
He's just got to keep the distance. We know Plugger's going to come out aggressively. He's going to try to close it up. So big round here for Plugger Joseph. Legal name Jayden Joseph in the Aussie trunks, and the big Croatian Ivan Kolar. Both fighters weighing in last night, very similar weights. It was around about the 89 kilograms, 90 kilograms. So heavy boys. Joseph, not the biggest, tallest cruiserweight, I should say, but those heavy hands, just those. Oh, the big left there.
He started off his career as a super heavyweight, but look at him go to the midsection there of Kolar. He started on the amateur scene as a super heavyweight and also heavyweight on the professional scene in his first 2 fights, but has dropped down to cruiserweight from his 3rd fight onwards.
Big right there.
Some good quality fighters from Tasmania. If you remember, Luke Action Jackson, who is also was also a world title contender, and still on the scene. Might fight for one of the regional straps in the next couple of months in December. Beautiful chopping sort of hand there from Jayden Joseph, and then goes down to the midsection of Kolar. But Kolar's not exchanging. You can see he's feeling the pace.
Yeah, definitely. He's just trying to weather the storm here. Hopefully he can sneak an uppercut on the way out or a hook. But you can see he's exhausted. And
we haven't really seen him try to get on his bike and move around and try and use his footwork to get around Plugger Joseph here. So it looks like he's sticking with a similar sort of game plan.
Yeah, just punching that jab out.
It is, of course, easier said than done, and it's very tiring in there.
For sure, for sure.
Kolar definitely flat-footed tonight, but Malcolm Borner brings both fighters to centre ring. And things are heating up here. It's all coming from Jayden Joseph's gloves. He's eating a lot of leather here, Ivan Kolar, the Croatian.
Kolar's in trouble here. I reckon Joseph will want to pounce. He's going to try to keep him in that corner. And both guys just in a telephone booth, close head-to-head, glove-to-glove. Crowd really enjoying this. Former cult superstar from the 80s and 90s, David Rees-Jones here. And, you know, you look around, some former AFL players. I think I saw John Barnes earlier, Mark Harvey. And, you know, boxing brings the sporting community around.
Beautiful stuff there from the inside, but Kolar comes back with a couple of flurries there with the right and left hand, but Joseph is watching like a hawk here tonight. He needs a stoppage victory. He's only had the 2 KOs in his 9 victories. He's not the biggest puncher, but I think a stoppage here will definitely put the rest of the cruiserweights on notice.
For sure, for sure.
He's definitely frustrated his opponent, Kolar, here, so it does look like Joseph will get the victory, but it would be good to see him get a knockout victory as well and really stamp himself on this contest.
He won the Tasmanian Cruiserweight title in May this year against Gary Brown. That was at the Tab Ewick racecourse in Hobart to get back the coveted Tasmanian title, but he wants to have some more cracks at the domestic Australian title.
Says he's okay. Great sign of respect. Kolar and Jayden Nichols.
Brings an end to the 4th round, and for me, Jayden Joseph has won every round comfortably. What are your thoughts there, Jake Edgington?
I would say I would agree with you 100%, mate. 4 rounds, and he's definitely won every one. I would have him up on the scorecards convincingly at the moment. It doesn't look like Ivan Kolar has the energy to really get on his bike and try and move around and switch it up a little bit. So we will see. Maybe in 5 and 6 he has something in store for us.
Beautifully said, Jake. And enjoying your podcast as well. Let's give it a shout out whilst we're here to everyone on Epicenter TV.
Absolutely. The Fight Fit podcast. We have a new episode every Monday.
Amazing.
And we've got Harry Garside coming on this week, who is a fantastic amateur, who was gold medalist at the Commonwealth Games and is looking to go to Tokyo 2020.
Amazing.
So we've got some great guests coming up. And tune in. We're on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Castbox, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Get on board.
I love the one with Jade Mitchell, Brian Armatrudas and Jordan DeGoey. Obviously had some great guests as well, and very happy to see you doing that well.
Absolutely. Some of the better ones, Dave the Rock Hedgecock as well. 2.5 hours of story time, boys, so get on board.
Yeah, he's a great man, Dave Hedgecock. There's none tougher in Melbourne as we continue here and Joseph. You know, they say in boxing, don't judge a book by its cover. A la Jayden, Plugger Joseph here. You have a look at him, and I say this respectfully, a good friend of mine, but Plugger, not the athletic Kris Terzievski type, but he's a great boxer.
Yeah, similar to Andy Ruiz, and we saw what Andy Ruiz did to Anthony Joshua a couple of months back.
Maybe a miniature Andy Ruiz.
Yeah, miniature in the cruiserweight division in Jayden Joseph. Maybe his new nickname would be Ruiz, but back to the action here in Jayden Joseph, looking to constrict his opponent in Ivan Kolar, but Kolar, his punch output throughout the contest has been quite low.
Yeah, he's really using it and relying on that jab, whether it's a jab or hook, but occasionally throwing a left and right. So, you know, I think Kolar's really just trying to survive. I don't know if he has the tools to knock Joseph out outside some good counter punching. You know, maybe getting him with a short uppercut if Joseph gets sloppy.
And you referred to his physique before, Jayden Joseph, and the padding around the waist can actually be quite a help when you're getting punched there, boys. Trust me, I would know, and we're hoping that the dad bod's making a comeback.
Yeah, exactly right.
We'll see Ruiz and Joshua #2 in December, so next month, looking forward to that. And this weekend, we've got a big fight. We've got Deontay Wilder, who's back in action, and he'll be having a rematch against Luis Ortiz. We know in the first fight that Deontay Wilder stopped Ortiz, but you never know in boxing. Maybe Ortiz can turn the tide there, and that will be on Fox Sports. But back to the action here, and Joseph is pumping the jab.
I think this one will be on Fox, I reckon, in 3 or 4 weeks for all those watching on Epicenter TV. A Paris production, putting it beautifully together for big-time boxing. A packed house at the Melbourne Pavilion for so far fight number 4, and it is 8 fights tonight, 3 title fights to those who have just tuned in. 3 great fights. It's our Australian lightweight title between Gaige and Brent Rice. Also our Aussie super welterweight title between AFL sensation Tayla Harris and Janay Harding. Our females there, and the Australian heavyweight title, guys and girls. This is unbelievable. It is Melbourne boy from Craigieburn. Hello to everyone in Craigieburn. Christopher Terzievski taking on the Queenslander Faiga Apollo, who's very, very popular up there. Opelu, so a tough boy, won the Frank Bianco Cup, I think it was in April this year, and he has very heavy hands. Only about 5'11", 6 foot, but tough as nails. It's going to be a huge one.
Yep, and to think that we've got 8 such quality fights, and we were also going to have Dave Drapak fighting as well. Unfortunately, couldn't fight this evening. His opponent pulled out, which is devastating because we were all looking forward to that one. Yeah. And Emmanuel Chol as well, another up-and-comer. So, fantastic card here.
Big-time boxing. Seconds down, this is the 6th and final round.
Yeah, this is the 6th and final round. It all comes down to this, but what Ivan Kolar needs is a knockout. Jayden Joseph just needs to see it out to get the victory, and he'll move on to 10 wins in his career and maybe some big tests in 2020, maybe a rematch against Daniel Russell or even a matchup against Jason Waitley, who's the Victorian Cruiserweight champion.
Impressive fighter, Waitley, that's for sure. Love seeing him in action. Watts will be back as well. After his loss in France soon as well. He told me he's got a couple of fights in him. So it's a great stacked division.
Yeah, that's definitely, I'd love to see Sugarcane Watts back here on the domestic scene. Maybe a matchup against Mark Bam Bam Flanagan, who lost to Opataya, or even Sugarcane and Jai Opataya. These are the matches you want to see as boxing fans.
Unbelievable, yeah. I love it when it's a division stacked, that's for sure. So really impressive here by Kolar to weather the storm of young Joseph.
It is a stacked division. There's some great up-and-comers. One of them at my gym is Troy Bam Bam Bullock as well, training under Paul Fifield. So he's another one to watch.
Yeah, he's going to be in action December 14. That will be at the Port Melbourne Timber Yard, so watch out for that. Troy Bullock out of Fight Fit, definitely one of the major players in the Victorian Cruiserweight division. Back here in Jayden Joseph snaps the head back of Ivan Kolar, who's proved durable throughout the 6 rounds.
Yeah, definitely. Joseph there just taking a deep breath. He's gone hard.
Both fighters in centre ring. Still a lot of gas left for Jayden Joseph. He could go another 4 rounds, but I think Ivan Kolar will be very pleased to see the 6 rounds sort of come up here.
Absolutely. And some would be surprised by seeing Jayden Joseph keep this pace because of his physique. But as we said, boys, it can be deceiving. He does look very fit. He's been throwing volume all fight, heavy punches as well. So it's a credit to him and his coaches.
Yeah, definitely one of the best fighters in Tasmania at this point in time, along with Luke, Action, Jackson. But tonight's about Jayden Joseph in our 4th fight of the evening, all set up for the next fight. Marvyn Feterika and Ratu Vitukawalu from Fiji. But look at Joseph, a couple of clubbing hands there, and Malcolm Borner in centre ring. He's been on the ball tonight.
He's cut the right eye of Ivan Kolar, just those short, when the gloves get like sandpaper a bit, they skid you. He's just done those angle uppercuts. All throws a beauty, and Plugger lands a good left himself and stopped him in his tracks.
Good quality flurry there from Kolar there on the back foot, but Jayden Joseph controlling centering, really dictating proceedings and using that 1-2 combination. You heard from John Zemakoli, 30 seconds remaining in this cruiserweight clash.
30 seconds. Joseph, he'll want to finish hard. Kolar's been good.
Joseph's been on his chest all night. Really, that pressure constricting style has taken its toll on Ivan Kolar. But you've got to give him some good work here tonight. He's gone the 6 rounds with a former Australian champion. Both fighters going toe-to-toe in the final 5 seconds.
What a tough guy, Ivan Kolar.
Brings an end to proceedings here. And I think that Jayden Joseph has probably won this fight via whitewash. It will be a unanimous decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we've gone to the judges' scorecards. Your 3 judges scored the contest 59-55, 60-54, and 60-54, declaring it a via unanimous points decision. Blue corner, Jayden Joseph. Ladies and gentlemen, please sorry that. Your next bout is bout number 5 on the card. The heavyweights are in action in the centre of the ring. Fighting out of the red corner, Ratu Vitukawalu. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, Marvyn Feterika.
And the big fella comes out. Marvyn Feterika, big and strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, your following bout is bout number 5 on the card. Tonight's fights are brought to you by Big Time Boxing. 4 by 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, Pavilion out of Golden Oaks Boxing. Last night of the weigh, he tipped the scales at 138 kilograms. Wearing the blue trunks with white. This evening, this man makes his pro debut and fights out of Mount Isa by way of Fiji. Ladies and gentlemen, Ratu Vitukawalu. And across the ring, he's opponent fighting out of the blue corner. Trained by Australasian UFC star Mr. Dan Kelly at a Brazilian Training Centre. Last night of the weigh, he came at 130.20 kilograms. Wearing the black boxing trunks. 2 fights, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 win coming by way of knockout. Representing Melbourne, Marvyn Feterika.
Do not blink. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This.
When the action begins, man in charge in the center of the ring, Mr. Ignatius Vissalides.
Do not blink. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on Epicenter TV. 2 of the biggest heavyweights. It is the big 145-kilo Ratu Vitukawalu taking on Marvyn Feterika at 131 kilograms. Big hello to all the Brighton primary dads here live watching on Epicenter TV as well. Jake, Jordan, it is big.
Round 1.
The heavyweights are fighting fight number 5 in big time boxing.
And we talked about our heavyweights coming in a bit lighter and that being a trend. That is not the case here today, boys, with these fellas. 130 kilos. 145 kilos. As you said, Matty Pilios, do not blink.
It is going to be unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen.
You got the man mountain in, Marvyn Feterika going to work early in the black trunks. He's had the draw with Kris Terzievski in the past. His last fight was against Hayden Wright, but that fight was scored a no contest due to a head clash, but he's really changing the levels nicely, going upstairs and downstairs. And the man from Fiji is feeling the power early, Matt Pilios.
He's got, they're just talking about him there in the Resilience Mixed Martial Arts. Daniel Kelly, UFC fighter, good long-term friend of mine, played football at Marymount Park with me for a year. Obviously a great Olympian judo. He just said this guy hits as heavy as he's ever seen in the world scene. So a big call. Oh, a big left. Rocked the Fijian.
Yeah, the man from Samoan heritage via New Zealand really making a statement in this first round. And the man from Fiji is struggling in the neutral corner. He's going to struggle to see out the first round, Jake Edgington.
And as you talked about, Marvyn Feterika training out of Resilience Training Centre in Footscray there. He'll be training with the likes of Ben Sassoli, who's a UFC fighter.
Heavy hands.
Dan Kelly, one of the greatest martial artists that Australia's ever seen.
Yep.
And the stock does not get much better than that. Jimmy Crute as well down there.
Jimmy's a tough boy.
So they do some hard sparring down there. I've had Jimmy on the podcast.
He's rocked big Ratu Vitukawalu, let me tell you.
Vitukawalu is actually training out of Queensland, Golden Oaks Boxing Club down there in Mount Isa,
They're
Queensland. But at the moment, he's feeling the pace and he's feeling the heavy artillery thrown from the man with the black trunks here in Marvyn Feterika, the 28-year-old.
Feterika's certainly come out firing, boys, and it'll be interesting to see if he can keep up this pace. It looks like he's already slowed down quite a bit. And you might find that he tries to stay at his range. And
he came out like a middleweight, let me tell you, that first 90 seconds. And I think Ratu Vitukawalu was like, I've never seen a heavyweight explode on him like that. So he's weathered the storm. He copped some big punches early. Let's see what his offense is like, though, the big Fijian.
Don't forget, this is a 4-by-3-minute round fight, so it's a rapid contest. You've got to get off to an absolute flying start, and that's what Feterika's done here tonight in the first round, Matt Pilios.
Be interesting to see how these guys go now. It's they've both got knockout power. They've both had a lot of knockouts themselves. Obviously, the professional debut by the big Fijian, but they've said he's had a lot of good fights not on the radar. So be very interesting. And look at the just the power shots here of the young Melbourneian Marvyn Feterika is huge at the moment. So,
and he's picked up the pace again here, boys. It looked as though Ratu Vitukawalu was controlling the centre of the ring for a little bit there, but Feterika picked it up towards the end of the round. He came out firing, moving like Michael Jackson and throwing some big shots there, but slowed down a little bit. Interesting first round. Looking forward to the second.
Yeah, for me, a comfortable first round there for Feterika. He will take a 10-9 heading into the second round.
I agree. That's start.
Raffle. One Elvis with Muhammad Ali and one Muhammad Ali with the Beatles. So lovely Amy and Monique will be coming around selling tickets. They're $20 each or 3 for $50.
Round number two. Matt Pilios here with Jordan Ballerini and Jake Edgington, our heavyweight. A big warm-up for the big heavyweight title fight tonight. And do not blink. Most of the surprise has gone in the second round. And Marvyn Feterika dominated the first 90 seconds, slowed down a little bit in that second half of that first round. And Vitukawalu has weathered the storm. 144 kilograms against 131. Do your maths, that's 280 nearly of power here. Huge crowd for big time boxing. Armatruda, all the body shots of Marvyn starting to land on the big Fijian.
Yeah, look at Marvyn Feterika. He's controlling the outside. He's got the length advantage over his opponent, but he's also comfortable on the inside in the trenches. But you can see Vitukawalu, who's opening his mouth, breathing quite heavily here in the second round, Jake Edgington.
Yeah, and he came out firing again, boys, but we will see how he goes with keeping that up. Dan Kelly, one of the most unassuming characters in the corner there. Boys, is there anything he cannot do? Boxing coach, judo, MMA.
He's a great man.
Controlling centre ring here, Vitukawalu coming forward now, the Fijian, but a clubbing right hand there, caught the gloves of Vitukawalu. Beautiful right hook there from Marvyn Feterika, the man from Wyndham Vale.
Vitukawalu is pushing forward a little bit and he's getting closer, but he's just not throwing punches. It looks like he's hesitant because of the power of Marvyn Feterika here.
Feterika, 28 years old, I think. He's got a big future. I think he started boxing a little bit later. Jordan, talk about the big fellow in the black trunks. So guys watching, it's Vitukawalu, the Fijian, in the blue and white, and Feterika, the Melbourne boy, in the black trunks.
He only made his pro debut 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago in July against Michael Harrington, where he stopped him in the first round. That was at the Melbourne Town Hall. Really went with a bang and stopped him with an overhand left. That's definitely where the real money punch is. That left hand that Feterika possesses can really sleep opponents. And you can see Vitukawalu is feeling the heavy artillery that Marvyn Feterika is throwing.
Oh, and he dodged a couple of big ones, and he threw a beautiful left, which Feterika walked into. So some good offense there, finally by a Fijian.
Certainly, and
I say
Feterika
that
does look...
respectfully because he's getting chased around by 132 kilo fit Feterika.
Feterika does look very confident in staying on his range here. Vitukawalu moving forward and not throwing very much punches, but he might do. He might throw some big punches in this round, so Feterika better be careful of that.
You look at Feterika, he sort of measures up at his opponent with that right hand. Doesn't have a snappy jab, but...
Oh! Yeah. Oh, no, both guys trading. And our Fijian, Vitukawalu, can smell blood.
You can tell that he's been waiting for that a bit. He's been coming in and getting Feterika to drop his hands a little bit.
Big shots.
Great respect.
Second round, the heavyweights in the center of the ring.
What a round, boys. And the pavilion is erupting.
Yeah, the atmosphere is lifted here in the fifth fight of the evening. But Vitukawalu, that was his best attack for the fight. But for me, you look at that predominantly, that second round, it was all in control for Marvyn Feterika in the blue corner.
What a round.
Certainly, there's nothing that the boxing fans love more than seeing two heavyweights go at it, boys, and the Melbourne Pavilion is absolutely buzzing right now.
What a crowd, 2,500 people. Guess what, guys? After this, we have 3 title fights. But a little break coming up. Then we've got Brent Rice and Gaige, Janay Harding and Tayla Harris. Got a lot of people from the Carlton Football Club here, including CEO Kane Liddell, and also the heavyweight Aussie title on the line. Who will be the Australian heavyweight champion, Trezewski, taking on Faiga Opelu. This one is the third round of fight number 5. Mouth guards popped out.
Oldest trick in the book, that one.
It is, boy, the young fella. The big Fijian is here. Tough as nails, the big boy.
Smart tactics there from Marvyn Feterika, dropping the mouthguard from his mouth. He gets an extra 15 to 20 seconds, and he'll have a talk to Dan Kelly quickly. And Ignatius Michailidis will bring both fighters into the neutral corner, and it's game on here in the third round.
Ratu is going to go berserk. I can feel it. He had his best 90 seconds at the end of that round, guys.
I think that what Ratu did that was very clever there was he lured Feterika in and got him to drop his hands a little bit. Feterika was very cocky, and then out of nowhere, Vitukawalu just exploded on him. And it took Feterika by surprise, and Feterika started trying to brawl with him in tight, which is not the game plan that Dan Kelly would be telling him.
Yeah, stunned the stadium. Really did.
You look at Feterika, he hasn't had a fight for, 2 years. His last fight was against Kris Terzievski, really. If you remember in his last fight, midway through this year, it was against Hayden Wright, but that sort of fight didn't even go 2 rounds. So he really hasn't fought in 2 years, and you can see he's feeling the pace of this fight in the third round.
Big right in the chest there by Ratu Vitukawalu. Yeah, it's testing waters for Feterika, who's just started so well. You thought maybe at 30 seconds in he was going to end this early. Hasn't. And but beautiful punches there. As I said, that really nice punches. Oh, good body shot. He's mixing him up.
Blood coming out of the nose here of Ratu Vitukawalu from the left hand of Marvyn Feterika. And you can see the power that Feterika packs in his repertoire and in his cabinet. He's definitely one of the heaviest punchers in the Victorian heavyweight division.
Beautiful. Just U-turn, ducking and weaving.
And it's very clever boxing here by Feterika as well, just tapping him with that jab on the gloves, keeping him on the end, making Vitukawalu think that he's in range.
And the big Fijian in the blue shorts, Vitukawalu's nose is busted. I reckon he's copped out 4 or 5 big shots there by Marvyn Feterika. So that will impact his breathing. And all of a sudden, this is boxing. It can turn quickly.
Beautiful left downstairs there from Feterika. Now changing it up upstairs with that jab. He doesn't have a snappy jab, but he lengthens his opponent and measures him up for that left hand there. What a clubbing left hand, Matt Pilios. And the sweat went all over you.
That was big, let me tell you. The only thing I'm concerned about Marvyn is winning easy this man. He keeps that left low, and a big right bomb from Vitukawalu could come. Big overhand right. So he might be trying to time that one, the money shot. You know, Marvyn's doing well, but to keep that left so low, it can be concerning. If the big man can get a big right overhand hook here, it might be his opportunity.
Marvyn Feterika is certainly conserving his energy a little bit more in this round as well. He doesn't want to get to the stage like later in that last round where Vitukawalu has a bit more gas left in the tank and he explodes on him and he doesn't expect it.
I agree.
Definitely got more energy levels here in the back end of the third round. Marvyn Feterika, smart game plan from his corner there in Dan Kelly out of resilience in Footscray. And 10 seconds remaining in this third round, Matt Pilios.
Maybe the old mouthguard trick was a tactic there by Dan and the team, because it's definitely worked well. And ladies and gentlemen, went to one of the premier gyms, Boxing Fit this morning.
Touch gloves, Melbourne, let's make some noise. This is the fourth and final round.
Fourth and final round, and I saw Mick Hargraves there, Zach Dunn. World champion there, looked very fit, so just wanted to say that as well. Zach Dynamo Dunn, who I think is going to the Expo in Tokyo next week. So you're a big fan, Jordan.
Oh, is Zach Dynamo Dunn, one of the best super middleweights in Australia. He's a world-rated fighter, WBO number 3.
Yep.
And there was talk maybe him fighting Billy Joe Saunders, who's the WBO super middleweight champion. That might happen in 2020.
Watch that space.
If an agreement can sort of happen between England and Australia.
It'll be unbelievable. So, yeah, Dynamo Dunn looking very good. To watch that announcement there. Going to round number 4, our fourth and final round of the heavyweights. Who would have thought this? Oh, and big left-right combination by the Fijian. And all of a sudden, Feterika was in trouble then. Oh, and he lands a big right. Both guys exchanging heavy leather. Great respect. That was phenomenal, boys.
As we said, Ratu Vitukawalu conserves his energy a lot and then he explodes with those punches and it really takes Marvyn Feterika by surprise. And then Feterika actually shows a little bit of inexperience by standing in there and trying to trade with him in tight when he should be using his range a little bit more.
Yeah, beautifully said.
Needs to use his range, really work off that jab, because those jabs are scoring punches, and definitely the judges are going to be scoring the rounds on those punches that he lands. Feterika from the right lead.
And also I was watching Dan Kelly in the corner there and he was telling his man Marvyn Feterika to just touch him with that jab and then lead with that right hook in that southpaw stance as well. So don't be surprised to see a few of them.
I agree.
Definitely a good run out for Marvyn Feterika, considering he hasn't fought for pretty much 2 years, and he needs to stay active in 2020. He's probably hoping for 3 or 4 fights in 2020 under big-time boxing, and who knows, that might sort of get him a Victorian heavyweight title shot. Good work there from Feterika on the back foot, just pumping the jab. They're scoring punches, but the Fijian isn't throwing too much leather in this round. Jake Edgington.
Yeah, I think that Marvyn Feterika is aware that he's winning quite comfortably on the scorecard, so there's no need to overexert himself and become tired and then expose himself to a potential Ratu Vitukawalu explosion.
Yeah, I think that's just about the biggest punches. He's done it every round about halfway through, so let's see how the big fella from Fiji goes now.
Final 30 seconds.
Marvyn Feterika has to be very careful dropping his hands and standing in close with him like that.
I agree.
What a clubbing left hand there from Feterika on the inside in the trenches, but the Fijian comes back there with a few punches of his own, but not too much, sort of pop on those punches. Ooh. All the power is coming from the man in the black trunks, Matt Pilios.
Beautiful left hook to finish this fight. Big respect to both fighters. Doesn't matter if you're a heavyweight, your head's not really that much bigger, but you're getting hit by twice the weight, so massive respect. They're going to go the distance. Big round of applause.
What a great fight. Well done, boys.
What a card so far.
Great stuff there from Ratu Vitukawalu and Marvyn Feterika.
Ladies and gentlemen, your following bout is bout number 6 on the card. They will be fighting for the ANBF Australian lightweight title. Fighting out of the red corner, Golden Boy, Brent, Rise. Gaige, Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, your following contest is bout number 6 on the card. Tonight's fights are brought to you by the team at Big Time Boxing. 10 by 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division. They will be fighting for the ANBF Australian lightweight title. Introducing first the challenger, fighting out of the red corner, trained by Robert Rice. Out of TGW Smithy's gym, with an official weight of 60.75 kilograms, wearing the white boxing trunks with gold. A record of 10 fights, 8 wins, 2 wins coming by way of knockout, and fighting out of Toowoomba in Queensland. He is the former Australian Super Featherweight Champion. He is the Golden Boy, Brent Rice. And across the ring, he's the opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, trained by Brian Butler out of East End Boxing, with an official weight of 60.80 kilograms. Wearing the green trunks with orange and white. A record of 12 fights, 7 wins, 2 draws, 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Representing Wantirna, he's the current Victorian lightweight champion and the current reigning and defending Australian lightweight champion, 12, Gaige, Ireland.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Big Time Boxing here on Epicenter TV. Matt Pilios here with Jordan Ballerini and Jay Eddington. As our referee, Ignatius Missoulides, for our
first about 3 titles, Big Time Boxing.
For our Aussie lightweight title, it is Gaige, Ireland, the Islander, taking on Brent Rice, the Melbourneian. Huge fight from Wantirna, Australian Aussie lightweight. Let me tell you guys, do not blink in terms of hand speed and footwork. 2 of the silkiest fighters you will see. It is the Aussie lightweight title on the line. 10 by 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, you've got Gaige Ireland in the sort of the Irish trunks.
You've got boxing Conor McGregor of Australia, let me tell you this guy.
Yeah, he's the current Australian champion, current Victorian champion, and he's defending his Australian title against a silky mover from Toowoomba in Queensland in Brent Rice, who's a southpaw,
Yes.
and they've already fought once. In the first fight, you had Gaige Ireland winning via stoppage in the 4th
Remember
round.
that fight?
But you know, there was a lot of protests in that fight. A lot of people said the cut came from a head clash on Rice, but I watched it clearly, and the left hook put down Brent Rice and opened up the cut on his right eye.
Yeah, and Rice, a beautiful fighter from the north of the country. Obviously trained a bit in Melbourne, the north of the country, and the island of Gaige Island as well. One of the great fighters here, Melbourne boy and tough as nails, the current champ.
And we saw Brent Rice lose his title to Liam Wilson via unanimous decision in November of 2018. And that was actually on the Jeff Horn Mundine card at Suncorp Stadium. So he's used to the limelight, he's used to the big fights, and he looks good here so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a great fight. And a big shout out to Michael Zarafa, who we've always seen in the Big Time Boxing card. Sandler Brunner, Blake Capra, their team. They've made Big Time Boxing huge over the couple of years. So Sammy Boy, what a sensational gym he's got there in Keilor East. Down there, Sandler Brunner with all that crew down there.
Yeah, you see Michael Zarafa and Jeff Horn in December, the rematch. For me, if I have to make a prediction, I'll probably see Zarafa maybe stopping Jeff Horn again. He's on a different level now, and if he wins this fight, well, there's opportunities over in Japan against the WBA middleweight champion in Ryoto Murata.
I love that. Let me tell you, that media conference was phenomenal a couple of weeks ago. The anger of Horn and Zarafa was sensational. So this one, no, let's go to these guys. 2 of the best. And great hand speed And Rice landed a couple of good shots there.
Yeah, he's a slick mover, Rice, former Australian super featherweight champion. And then, as you mentioned before, he lost that title to Liam Wilson. But he's a slick mover. He moves in and out of the pocket, very distinguished amateur pedigree. He's had 70 amateur fights and a multiple-time Queensland champion as well as Australian champion. But Gaige Island, he's been with some of the best in Australia. Jacob NG and these sort of guys, as well as Terry Zuramanis. Terry's only losses to Randy Ochoa from America, Jacob NG and Terry Zuramanis.
Well, the world-class fighters there, that's for sure. So
12 Gaige Island also been over to Las Vegas and fought over there as well, so that was a big fight for him. Brent Rice in his fight against Liam Wilson. Liam Wilson has had 137 amateur fights and won 123. So those were two guys with big amateur pedigrees coming head-to-head, and that was a quality fight.
Yeah, you look at the lightweight division in Australia, it's got some good quality, some good depth there. There's another boy, not too many people are talking about him, in Hunter Ioane. Watch out for him at 60 kilograms. Hits like a heavyweight, but that brings an end to the first round. And for me, that was a seesawing first round. Matt Pilios, what are your thoughts?
great round. Just after John talking there, sorry guys.
Tayla Harris takes on Janay. And your main event, Kris Terzievski, Faiga, Opelu.
And thanks, mate. Yeah, I thought Rice there was the busier, a bit cleaner than Gaige Island. I thought he started well and he was in and out of the pocket. So for me, I thought it was Brent Rice to get the first round.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I thought 12 Gaige Island there was a little bit frantic, and Brent Rice was really keeping his composure there and picking his shots a little bit better, which was the big difference for me.
Yeah, he was throwing those straight punches. Brent Rice there in the red corner out of TWG Smith's gym in Logan City. But Gaige Island seemed a little flat-footed there in the first round and throwing wildly, but he's got one of the best trainers in the business in his corner in Brian Butler.
He is very good, Big Butler. Round number 2. Our Aussie lightweight title. Big-time boxing it is. And great to have Khalid Baker's come in the commentary position. Very happy winner tonight. And
very exciting stuff.
Oh, beautiful. Body shots too. Walked into a big left by Island though, but opening himself up there. Oh, both guys. A heavy left by Island. And now he has Rice backing in the corner. Oh, big body shots. And talk about the intensity, both guys felt each other out. What a start to this second, guys.
And Brent Rice is not taking a backward step here, despite being really rocked by those shots by 12 Gaige Island.
I think Gaige Island's power there was a bit of a difference. He's got a thick, sort of muscly back, and when he swings, I reckon there's a bit of a power advantage to the Irishman at Gaige Island.
Yeah, you look at the power, it's all in favour of Gaige Island. I definitely do believe he's got the knockout power. Brent Rice is a more skilled fighter out of the two. And for me, one of the most skilled fighters in the Australian lightweight division. But if he gets caught by Gaige Island's power, you never know. You're only one punch away from disaster.
And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the later rounds if it goes to that, boys, because Brent Rice will keep his composure, as we've seen, and potentially with the explosive movements of Gaige Island, he might gas out a little bit easier.
Really impressed with Island's footwork this round as well. He's not been on his toes more than the first round. And I reckon Rice was on his toes like he just was in all the first round, and a little bit more flat-footed since he got that hit. So going to be interesting next minute and a half, guys.
But both fighters have a distinguished amateur career. Island's had the 43 fights, while Rice had the 70 fights. And Rice, an unbelievable amateur career. He's had the 5 Queensland titles as well as 2 Australian titles. But a nice right hand there from Gaige Island. And he's on the front foot. He senses blood in the water, and he's like a shark at this point in time.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, big right there by Island too. Rice circling away. When you circle away, you've got to recover. You're getting your breath back. So he's the heavy hands of Island. He's probably not the quantity of Rice. Oh, a good uppercut there. But when he lands, it's hurting.
He's certainly got a lot of power.
You look at Gaige Island, he made his pro debut all the way back in November 2015 at Bendigo Stadium against the New South Wales boy in Daniel Beverley. And that fight was ruled a majority draw, but a nice right hand there from Gaige Island. And his opponent, Brent Rice, is backpedaling towards the ropes.
Yeah, Rice starting to feel the heavy leather of Island.
Yeah, definitely feeling the power at this 60-kilogram sort of weight division here. And Ignatius Michelidis gets involved. What are you seeing, Jake Edgington?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing the power playing a big factor here, boys. I think that Brent Rice will be happy to see the corner right now, go back to his coaches and regroup a little bit.
Yeah, for me, this is a comfortable round for Gaige Island. And what a left hook there on the bell. And for me, I've got a one.
Round number 3.
Round 3.
Very even title fight for the Aussie lightweight title here. In the Irish colours, it is, of course, Gaige Island and Brent Rice in the white and gold. Very even fight. I like Rice when he's on his toes and he's in and out the pocket. And he's using angles. He's got the reach. He's got the slight height advantage as well. Gaige sort of fights forward as well, so he loses a little bit of his sort of jabbing, pepping. So Rice has really got to try to use that double jab and just use his angles.
Yeah, definitely high boxing
Right.
IQ there from Rice, but Gaige Island definitely got the power advantage. He's got a sneaky left hook as well, Gaige Island. He likes to throw, but look at the hand speed there from the southpaw in Brent Rice. He started with a bang here in the 3rd round.
This is where it becomes very interesting stylistically, boys, because Brent Rice is going to start picking up the pace here a little bit, and he's certainly not taking a backward step against the explosive and powerful Gaige Island.
So sharp start here in the 3rd round for Brent Rice. Try to load up that right hand, but just missed the head there of Gaige Island. Now Gaige Island, the raging bull, is coming forward. What a left hook, landed flush on his opponent, Brent Rice, Matt Pilios.
Yeah, and Rice didn't flint like he did in the 2nd. You know, he felt those ones in the 2nd. He looked like he just sort of weathered that pretty well and slipped it a bit. So, again, when he's standing still like that, it's dangerous. And Island lands again. He's got to move, when he's standing like that, move his head side to side or just angle out. You can't be a standing target there for Island.
Both fighters are from Queensland. Gaige Island was from Yeppoon in Queensland, but has moved down
Melbourne.
now to Wanturna in Victoria.
Eastern suburbs.
So he's a Victorian boy now, and he's coming up against the bred and born Queenslander from Toowoomba in Brent Rice.
It's good to see Brent Rice using that angle to get out there rather than just heading back and getting collected by that right hand of Gaige Island.
The pace of these two guys from ringside is phenomenal. For all those, we welcome you on Epicenter TV, A Paris Productions. It's going to be a huge end of this night, let me tell you. First of 3 title fights for the fans that just tuned in. And myself, Matt Pilios, with Jordan Bellerini and Jay Eddington. Great to commentate this one tonight. Big time boxing it is. And look at Island just dominating the centre of the ring. Really just chasing his target, Rice, now.
He looks bigger and more powerful, and his cardio looks fantastic as well. He's really been putting in the extras as well, boys. He's a male stripper outside of this, so if there's any hens nights that need a male stripper, you know where to go, ladies.
There you go, and probably both of you young fellas had the ability to do that in your time, and always good.
I'd say more so Jordan.
No, stay away.
He knows that he knows his way around a strip pole.
No, stay away from that scene, but back to the action here, and Gaige Island on the front foot like a man possessed at this point in time. And look at the hand speed there from Brent Rice. He's pretty composed there on the back foot, Matt Pilios.
Yeah, I was just going to go back to that. He's hopefully Island's clients are all watching him and cheering him on tonight. But back to boxing, and look, it's Rice, the boxer, versus the power hitter. Gaige Island, the fighter, I should say. And right around that was very even. I reckon even Rice might have snuck that back.
Yeah, seesawing 3rd round there, but I think Brent Rice, in terms of the clean punches landed on the back foot, I think it came from the man from Toowoomba. What are your thoughts, Jake?
And the volume, Jakey, as well. I reckon he landed triple the volume of punches than Gaige Island.
I would say that Gaige Island might have won all of the rounds so far, in my opinion. I think that he's been pressing the action more and landing the bigger shots, and it just depends how judges score it, because some judges prefer to see the volume, some judges prefer to see controlling the centre of the ring, and it will all depend on the judges.
First time on the commentary position. We're glad you got your opinion there, mate. You dressed very well, and great to have you there. Jake Eddington joining us, replacing the veteran Julian Holland tonight.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure, fellas. And, I had to look sharp because I knew that Jordan was going to be wearing his flat cap.
Yeah, I'm happy with the flat cap on. I've worn it for 3 weeks straight, but gearing up for the 4th round here. And Gaige, you can see in his eyes, he means business. And he's in the centre of the ring, controlling the centre of the ring straight away against the nifty Brent Rice.
Very even title fight, ladies and gentlemen, big time boxing.
And a very interesting look that Gaige Island's got going. He's got the tats, he's got the Irish colours, and he's also got the G shaved into the back of his head, so...
Definitely a flamboyant character is Gaige Island, and he's coming forward, but Brent Rice using the jab, trying to stay away from the money punch, which is the rear right hand from Gaige Island. But having said that, Gaige Island has also got a sneaky left hook that he likes to throw in between flurries.
You've seen the speed difference of Rice, guys. As tough as Gaige is, you're really seeing Rice with his hands and movement in and out the pocket.
For me, I think the best weight division for Rice is probably super featherweight. I think that's where he's going to have a lot of success, but he's jumped up a weight division here tonight against Gaige Island. Gaige Island's fought Terry Zuramanis at super lightweight, so a division higher. So a couple of divisions higher than where Brent Rice is used to.
Sometimes you see guys later in their career, they can go up a weight, they don't have to cut the weight as bad, they have a bit more power in their punches, so, and he's still tall enough. But again, he's fighting a stronger guy here. But look at that hand speed, phenomenal. And that's the advantage of going up, because you're faster.
And Gaige Island certainly looks like the bigger man in the ring right now, boys.
Yeah, he's looking like a monster in centre ring here at the Melbourne Pavilion, live on Epicenter.tv around the globe. Adam Watt is doing a fine job with All Combat Sports.
Oh, he's sensational. Him and, combined with him and A Paris Production, 2 of the best in the country, Big Watsy. And he's built that up a couple of years ago, and streaming all across the world.
Rice countering and moving laterally a little bit better in this round.
Yeah, great jab there, nice lead, and he's got quality, efficient movement, Brent Rice from Toowoomba, and he's quite busy in this round. This is definitely the most busy round for Brent Rice.
Yeah, for sure. That's as crisp as a jab you'll see in the lightweight division across the world. I mean, just so impressive, so fast. He does have a cut. Don't know if that was a head clash about 30 seconds ago on the left of his eye. Don't know how it just looks like right in the sort of skull there, so they'll have to look at that. And Island, walking a good left hand there by Rice, the counter punches. And Rice, now some of that blood might be getting into his eye, so he's got to be careful. But his footwork is phenomenal. Head movement's good. And impressive fight. Despite his cut, I still think Rice is just avoiding the punches, even though Island's the aggressor. So I reckon no doubt a head clash there. I didn't see anything that was too aggressive from Island to open him up like that.
Yeah, I think that came from a head clash, but it's not going to affect him too much. It's running down the side of the eye, so they're not going to stop the bout.
And it's a beautiful display of boxing here, gentlemen. You can see that Brent Rice is really slipping and uppercutting and countering so well against
Round 5.
We're on here for another very big round of boxing.
Round number 5. And a bit of urgency from Ireland. It's come out early. Really just basically chasing down Brent Rice. Now, he might feel he might be could be 3 rounds. You know, it could be 3 rounds to one up. It could be 3 rounds to 1 down. I definitely think he won that second round. But despite that, it's been a very even fight. Rice, no doubt, more volume of punches outside that second round. It just depends on how the judges will score the power shots of Ireland compared to the volume of punches of Rice, who was beautiful there. Despite bleeding for most of that 4th round, He's just footwork. It feels like he's got a bit faster.
I think it's even Steven in this round. So heading into the 5th round, 2 rounds apiece. But you look at Gaige Island, he's looking to constrict and maul his opponent and throwing those single punches whilst the volume is coming from Brent Rice.
And both boys look like they have superb cardio here as well. They're moving so well, and the skill hasn't wavered at all, which is the best part.
Beautiful footwork there. And Gaige just looking for that big right hand to find home, which hasn't really had that success since that 2nd round. Rice is really, see how he's just angling out.
Brent Rice is continually slipping and coming back with that uppercut when he throws that big right hand.
Beautiful short uppercuts and short hooks, and his head movement's good, his footwork's good.
Yeah, the better boxer of the two is Brent Rice, but the street fighter here tonight is Gaige Island, and he's definitely got that one-punch knockout power. So you've got to see how these 10 rounds sort of play out, because one sort of flurry and it could be good night for Brent Rice.
And the worry for Rice is how fast can he stay for how long? If he gets to around 7, 8, 9, can he keep this speed where Island can't hit him in the pocket? At the moment, he can get in and out the pocket at will because he knows he's a faster fighter.
Yeah, on the outside, that's where Rice is going to have success. With that right lead, if he stays there, I think that's where he's going to have a lot of success. But if Gaige Island gets on the inside in the trench as well, that's going to suit the strengths of Gaige Island. What a right hook there from Brent Rice on the way out. Good stuff here, Jake Edgington, from the man from Toowoomba.
And Brent Rice has certainly found his range and found his rhythm a lot in these last few rounds.
100%.
He's moving really well, and he's not allowing Gaige Island to try and bully him and throw his weight around like he's trying to do.
Gaige Island threw some big punches before, and Rice got out of him, and I reckon he would have connected at most lightweights in the country. So that was huge. And Island now just trying to hold him a bit, and he's getting frustrated, guys.
Yeah, you see Gaige Island's eyes getting frustrated, trying to throw that right hand, but just hitting fresh air. There's 10 seconds left in this round, and I think it's a controlled round from Brent Rice on the back foot. And now he goes for a flurry in the last 5 seconds, and Ignatius Michailidis will separate both fighters.
That's the end of round number 5, scheduled 10 rounds.
Great round, boys. Very good round. Guess what? We've got the female championship title fight on the line. It's AFL Cup sensation Tayla Harris takes on Janay Harding for the Aussie Super Welterweight title, boys. What a fight. Look at the media here as well. I just saw the Herald Sun, Channel 7. The Carlton CEO, Kate Liddell. It's going to be a huge fight for women's sports alone, but obviously all the AFL is watching Tayla Harris.
Yeah, she's fighting for a 2nd Australian title, so she's looking to become a 2nd Australian champion in the 2 different weight classes. And she comes up against an opponent she faced midway through last year in Janay Harding, who's coming off that Bellator fight that we mentioned a little earlier. But this is all set up for the second half of this matchup for the Australian lightweight title. Gaige Island is defending his championship against Brent Rice, the man travelling from Queensland.
Rice's Toowoomba would be going berserk. Rice's footwork has been phenomenal. Gaige lands an early right there, but Rice hasn't done anything wrong, I reckon, since that 2nd round. Thought the 1st round was a genuine 50-50, all in the 2nd round, but since the 3rd, it could nearly be 3 rounds straight for Brent Rice. We'll only know later in the fight.
And this is when really solid skills and cardio, but also game plan comes in handy. Brent Rice hasn't wavered from his game plan, you feel, and it's really starting to pay off here. He's finding his rhythm, finding his feet, and he's winning this fight, I think.
He's got a decent bruise under his left eye, though, so that's from the heavy hits from Ireland. Let's see how that swells up and if it affects his vision.
Brent Rice's biggest win was back in November 2016 against Matt Casbolt for the Australian super featherweight title. And if he wins this here tonight, well, there's no doubt about it, this will be the biggest scalp of his career, and it's going to put him to bigger and better things. The likes of Jacob NG, who's IBF world rated, and also the Victorian in maybe Hunter Ioane. And there's also another guy by the name of Kane Clark, who's on the lightweight scene, and he's the ANBF Australasian lightweight champion.
Kane Clark, of course, trains out of my room, and Kane Superman Clark, and he trains with Christian Enor down there.
One
Christian
of the most explosive hands.
Oh, yeah. Kane's a phenomenal athlete and incredibly explosive and strong and quick for his size. So one of Australia's more exciting prospects.
He's got bricks in those hands, hasn't he, Jake?
Absolutely.
Big Basher always says with Kane, and he teaches him some tricks from time to time.
And obviously in Christian's stable, the likes of Webby as well.
Yeah, he's good. Very good.
Yeah, definitely one of the big cruiserweights. Kyle Webb, former Victorian cruiserweight champion, but at the moment, some good quality. Abdullah's is a lightweight. He's another one that could face maybe Gaige Island or Brent Rice in the next year or two. But you look at the action here, and for me, it's all Brent Rice in this round. These boxing skills are much more superior than Gaige Island.
For any young aspiring boxer, have a look at this. Brent Rice against a tough opponent is showing why the art of boxing is still rated as the #1 fight sport fan-wise, even though mixed martial arts is caught up. Look at this, just beautiful dancing and footwork. It's great to watch.
Reading his opponent so well, and it's gotten to the point now where Gaige Island is really struggling to land shots and really struggling to impose his will on this fight, which he's trying to do.
You know, we spoke at Floyd Mayweather in the break, excuse me, and that's exactly how he fought, exactly like Rice. Hardly got hit, in and out the pocket, clean boxing.
Yeah, defensively the best fighter of all time, Floyd Money Mayweather, fought some of the best, and he's come out of retirement today to get back in action in 2020.
Huge.
So maybe that Manny Pacquiao matchup, that rematch, could happen next year.
Should have happened in 2012, boys. Happened too late, we all know that. I reckon Pacquiao would have had him 2012, 2013.
Of the ring tonight, we have a great show.
Brings an end to round number 6, and for me, unofficially on the scorecards, I've got a 4 rounds to 2 in favour of the red corner.
Yeah, 4-2 for me, maybe 5-1, could be 3-3. An unbelievable fight, but Rice definitely second half of this fight.
I would say it would be either 4-2 or 3-3 for mine at the moment. I think that Gaige Island was able to impose himself a little bit more in the first few rounds, but Brent Rice has really picked it up.
Beautifully done, big crowd, big time boxing, and our heavyweights no doubt will be in the back warming up. I say hello to everyone from Melbourne, Victoria, supporting the one and only Kris Terzievski, a former Craig event footballer. I think he trained a bit of VFL as well. A great guy, and hit the boxing scene 3-4 years ago.
Round 7.
He takes on Faiga Opelu, the big heavyweight from Queensland. Short at 6 foot, but thick, heavy hands. He won the Frank Bianco Cup 3 fights in a row earlier this year. That will be for the Aussie heavyweight title. Round number 7.
Yeah, round number 7 here, and Brent Rice back on the bike here, just using the jab and trying to get away from that rear hand of Gaige Island. Gaige Island started sharply in the first 3 rounds, but has tapered off towards the 4th round to the 7th round.
I agree.
Jake really light on his feet here tonight, Brent Rice, and he's showing class in the rematch in Victoria against Gaige Island.
Certainly, you can just see how slick he is, and that's the big difference at the moment, I think. He's just outboxing Gaige Island. Gaige Island's telegraphing what he's doing a little bit, and Brent Rice is able to read that and then move off and throw punches of his own.
Gaige Island, as we said, has had some big domestic fights. He got stopped by Jacob NG in the 4th round. I don't think he's going to get stopped here tonight, but he'll get outboxed, maybe heading into the 10th round for the Australian lightweight title, and we might have a new lightweight champion, but we've got to wait and see how these last 4 rounds play out, because you never know. Gaige Island does have that natural power for a 60-kilogram fighter.
For sure. It's very hard for a 60-kilogrammer. This is what we always said for Rice would be the danger rounds, because he just has to get hit once in round 7, 8, 9 and 10. But if he can do what he's done in the last 3 or 4 rounds and just dominate the boxing, stay on those toes, in and out, double jab, pick him apart, short uppercuts and hooks, I'll see him to continue. But Gaige is just, you know, what they say, 1 punch away from a win.
You look at the corner there in the red corner, Robert Rice is in the corner for Brent Rice. That's his father, out of TWG Smiths in Toowoomba, and he's looking pleased with his son, who is really outboxing the Australian lightweight champion. The challenger is doing a fine job, Jake.
Yeah, certainly, and he's throwing some slick punches now as well, slipping and weaving, and really looks like he's a confident boy in there. And we noticed that Gaige Island does look a lot bigger, so as you said, he's 1 punch away from disaster at all times.
Rice is beautiful, great fitness and cardio here. Just the way he angles out with his back foot, footwork really just shows. Look at that. That was just Gaige trying to hit him, and he just punched the air then.
Beautiful left uppercut on the inside there from Brent Rice, and he slips out, but he's like a matador here tonight, and the bull is Gaige Island, and he can't find a glove since the 3rd round onwards on Brent Rice.
Rice is just circling out is phenomenal.
You can really see the amateur pedigree in Brent Rice here, the way that he moves and slips and throw those punches.
Threw a big left there. Island got out of the way.
Final 5 seconds. Will he stay out of trouble? It's all Brent Rice. All the work's coming from Brent Rice. Gaige Island trying to corner him, but misses that left hand. And for me, I've got a 5 rounds to 2 in favour of the red corner.
Your champion, Gaige Island, the challenger, Brent Rice. Big time boxing.
This crowd is built up at the Melbourne Pavilion.
Over and over again, right here in Melbourne, at the home of combat sports, the Melbourne Pavilion.
Absolutely, it's buzzing into here, and I think that this fight is a great one to get us ready for the other 2 title fights that are coming up. Huge card here for big time boxing.
They're standing up at the bar. It's a full 2,500 people here at the Melbourne Pavilion, big time boxing. Once again, welcome everyone to Epic Centre TV, A Paris production, live here tonight for big time boxing, guys. It's great to be a part of. The electricity in this room is phenomenal, and it's an absolute beautiful card. This is the first of 3 title fights.
I can't believe we've got 2 more.
Round 8.
I know, what a card it's been so far. And considering Drapak fight was cancelled an hour before the card, with his opponent being pulled out, it's been a phenomenal card so far. And to me, first title I like, Brent Rice so far. And it's going to take a lot from Ireland. In my opinion now, Ireland, I think, nearly needs to stop Rice to win this, because I don't think he can win it on points. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Commentators.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Matt Pilios there. He needs a knockout for me in the remaining probably 3 rounds, Gaige Island, to get the victory. He seems a little confused and frustrated with his work on Brent Rice. He can't get near him here in the back end of the fight. What are your thoughts about that, Jake?
Yeah, certainly. I think Brent Rice has just figured him out here a little bit, and it's really showing that he's got more tricks up his sleeve than Gaige Island, and Gaige Island is trying to sort of come with the same game plan, and hasn't been able to show him a few extra looks that perhaps maybe would have required.
He's opened up that cut again from the head clash. I think it was round 5. What I'm finding with Gaige is too, he's getting confused. He's fighting flat-footed, and he's getting on his toes. There's no consistency there, where you just see Rice, that flow on his feet and hands has just been consistent 99% of this fight.
Yeah, look at Gaige Island. He's seeming a little one-dimensional here tonight. There's no plan B, and you see Brent Rice, he's got probably 3 or 4 plans in his repertoire, and that's what he's doing, just on the back foot, really in cruise control and composed at the Melbourne Pavilion, live on Epicenter TV, big-time boxing, doing wonderful things.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, and all those amateur fights as well. He's an experienced boxer, and it's really showing here.
Those 5 Queensland titles and that left hook there on the way out, and a 2-time Australian amateur champion. Well, he might be another Australian champion in 2 different weight classes after the matchup tonight. He was a super featherweight champion, and he goes up 1 weight division, and he might be winning that title come the end of the 10 rounds. But we've got to wait and see the final 3 rounds who wins in this matchup.
More even round. Ireland's done some good attacking. Rice slightly slowed down, guys. I reckon slightly slowed down. So it was always going to be superhuman for him to keep that speed of round 2 to probably round 8. So it's going to get a little bit interesting, a little bit harder for Rice, because Gaige still has that power in the hands. Let's just see how he can attack, and if he can ever corner young Brent Rice.
I think that Brent Rice would be very confident that he's up on the scorecards here and that he doesn't need to do too much.
Again, the footwork
there. He can coast
there.
a little bit more.
Gaige Island's been punching air. I mean, it's just a great ball and a beautiful left there by Rice.
Oh, beautiful combinations there for Brent Rice. It reminds me of David Lemieux against Billy Joe Saunders 2 years back.
That was a great fight.
David Lemieux was just punching fresh air, and Billy Joe Saunders was on the back foot on his bike moving, and there's 5 seconds left in this round, and for me, it's another Brent Rice round.
Wow. You certainly have to admire the tenacity of Gaige Island here, just coming forward the whole time, though.
What a
Big Time Boxing on Facebook. Round number 9.
Round number 9, Rice in the white trunks, and it is Gaige in basically the Irish colours. Lightweight Aussie title on the line, the Queenslander and the Victorian, and it's been all the Queenslander respectfully to Island. Island hasn't done much wrong. It's just that Rice has just, his counter boxing has been phenomenal now, and he's been attacking well. And he's just really dominated the probably the last 6 or 7 rounds straight.
Yeah, the second half of the fight has been Brent Rice in a whitewash, but the first 3 rounds could have gone either way. They could have gone to Gaige Island, but
Correct.
For me, unofficially, 6 rounds to 2 in favour of Brent Rice. And in early proceedings here in the 8th round, Brent Rice is doing the same thing. The same trend is happening. He's moving and boxing wonderfully, the 5-time Queensland amateur champ.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I'd say that Matthew Pilios summed it up perfectly before when he said that Brent Rice is simply picking him off. With every time that Gaige Island tries to attack, he's picking him off with those nice short punches.
Just the footwork still. He's on song with his light on his feet, on his toes. Just saw that Island came in hard. He was able to get to the side there and circle away.
Well, he's a warrior with a capital W, though, Gaige Island. He'll keep coming to the final bell, so you never know in boxing. But for me, he changes stances sometimes, Brent Rice, but predominantly tonight he's been in the southpaw stance, and Gaige Island has struggled all night here at the Melbourne Pavilion.
Beautiful uppercut there by Island. Lands one, bit of confidence. In and out there was Rice, though. Too easy.
Yeah, and Island is leading with those big shots and allowing for Brent Rice to really sort of pick apart what he's doing.
Look, Rice can circle to the left, he can circle to the right, just so unpredictable. Fights very well backwards. You know, you don't see many fighters fight so beautifully on their back foot like Brent Rice has today.
Yeah, he likes absorbing the pressure, really happy on the back foot here. He's in it looks like he's in 3rd gear, could go another 2 gears, but he's doing enough to get the W here tonight. In the back end of this fight, into deep waters now, but we know Gaige Island has been into deep waters before in those Australian title fights.
Yeah, Gaige Island now just getting to the point where he's chasing him around the ring. Brent Rice is still so light on his feet, on his toes. They're moving so well as if it's the first round still. So very, very impressive performance by Brent Rice.
You're fighting the fight fit, mate. It probably inspires you yourself, mate, to even work on that footwork, improve. It's great to be sitting and commentating because you get to watch the professionals
absolutely
live.
Absolutely. There's nothing more inspiring than seeing these blokes go at it. These are some of the best talent that we have in Australia, and at a novice level, I definitely can't compare myself to these guys, but yeah, it certainly is very inspiring.
It's great to do. And Ireland just starting to get some take up a big
That's
right
in
there.
round number 9.
And great sportsmanship. Got a little fire in there, boys.
Big Time
Got a
Boxing.
title on the line.
Gaige
And
Island.
Jordan, best dressed
Brent
commentator
Rice.
tonight, big fella.
We're going to the
Yeah, I've gone the
final
Stevie
round. We will
tonight,
find out.
but yeah, I don't mind wearing the flat cap. I've worn it for 3 weeks straight, but we're heading into the 10th and final round, and for me, I've got it 7 rounds to 2 in favour of Brent Rice, but that was the best round from Gaige Island for a number of rounds.
I agree.
Great to see multiple.
This is the entree heading into the main course soon. The semi-main event is all set up. Tayla Harris will be fighting for the Australian super welterweight title against Janay Harding. And the main event, well, it's Kris Terzievski who fights for the domestic heavyweight title against the Frank Bianco Cup winner in Faiga Opelu, who's got that one-punch power with those 8 KOs in his career.
Now let's get behind
Boy, do we have
both
some
of
exciting
these
fights
fighters.
coming
They
up.
touch gloves for the final time. 10th and final round.
10th and final round, big time boxing. How good is this? Ireland, you can just see the eye in the tiger. He's going to chase. He's got 3 minutes to try to take out Brent Rice, and he does have the power in his hand. Make no mistake, all our viewers live on Epicenter TV.
Absolutely, and even though it is late in the fight, he is the bigger man and he's got some serious power in his hands. He's also obviously got great cardio and has been working very hard in this camp because he's still really pressing the action. Tenacity's there, so you can't help but respect Gaige Island for his performance here.
Yeah, Gaige Island needs a knockout for the Chocolates to defend his Australian lightweight title. And you can see his corner there, Brian Butler out of East End Boxing. He's trying to will him on, but the fleet-footed Brent Rice has been on a different level tonight, Matt Pilios.
Been beautiful. Look, talking about a boxer boxing backwards, just got out of the trouble there. Again, Brent Rice.
Came
on
very
fire.
close to us there, boys. Almost wore that right hand.
Well, he was circling the wrong way. Rice through the punch. He still was able to move his hips and just slip. Whether it's slipping with his shoulders or his hips, he's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, special fried rice here. Brent Rice on fire here at the Melbourne Pavilion in the 10th round. And in cruise control, Michelides is watching this bout closely. We know Michelides, one of the best refs in the business, has controlled world title fights. But Gaige Island, I think, is going to lose his lightweight title tonight against the challenger from Toowoomba.
Yeah, and then Brent Rice is now landing a bit of offense himself.
Absolutely.
And actually, you just saw Island on the back foot for a first time in a long time. So that's huge for Rice's confidence. Oh, big right there by Island. Big punch. Actually threw Rice back a bit, so that's a good shot there. But Gaige, he needs to land more of those.
Brent Rice got a real attitude there, boys, and started walking him down and landing the one, leading with that big straight left from the southpaw stance.
Has had a great training camp, Brent Rice. He's geared up for the biggest fight of his life. That could take him to a different level, and he's putting it on Gaige Island. He's on the front foot now in the 10th and final round, Matt Pilios.
Unbelievable scenes here. Island again gets his hands on Rice, but is it enough?
Beautiful slick combination there in close as well. Gaige Island just got too close to him and he landed a four-punch combination.
Bring this fight home for the final 30 seconds.
That's been his go or fight. His footwork, his circling out, his angles. For any young boxer, Brent Rice has put an unbelievable display. Got hit with the right then on the way out. Obviously, superhuman, he's starting to tie a little bit. But what a win this is going to be for Queensland and Toowoomba. Gaige Island is going to try to hurt him.
This is the first time that I've seen Brent Rice actually look tired this fight, boys. And it is
Been
the
a
last
phenomenal
round.
pace.
And he's really getting tagged by a few there.
Yeah, what a fight.
10 rounds of championship boxing in the centre of the ring. 12 Gaige Island.
Gaige Island cut off the ring nicely, but...
Ladies and gentlemen, of the 10 rounds of championship boxing, we've gone to the judges' scorecards. Your first judge scored the contest 95-95. Your second judge scored the contest 97-93 to the blue corner. Your third judge scored the contest 95-95. This fight is declared a majority draw.
Unbelievable. Do not boo, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your following contest is the co-main event of the evening. Fighting out of the red corner, Janay, Hollow Point, Harding. Ladies and gentlemen, her opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, Tayla Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the official announcement of our co-main event, on the 9th of November, Australia lost one of their top boxers. Melbourne lost one of their favourite sons. We also lost a multiple-time champion. The cowboy Dwight Richie passed away suddenly doing what he loves. Our thoughts and prayers with his friends, his family, and especially his partner and his 3 beautiful children that he left behind. Can I please have everybody in the venue upstanding as the big-time boxing family give him the 10-bell salute. On behalf of the Big Time Boxing family, may you rest in peace. We also ask everybody to please head to the Dwight Richie GoFundMe page as the boxing community and our Australian fight community raise money for his family that he has left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, your following contest is the Big Time Boxing co-main event of the evening. This fight brought to you by Big Time Boxing, 8 by 2-minute rounds in the Super Welterweight division. Both fighters will be fighting for the vacant ANBF Australian Super Welterweight title. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, trained by Anthony Redwood, out of Gaige High Performance Boxing, with an official weight of 69.05 kilograms, wearing the black trunks with white. 5 fights and fighting out of Sydney, New South Wales. Ladies and gentlemen, Janay Hollow Points Harding. And across the ring, her opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, trained by Faris Chevalier at a Team Alice gym, with an official weight of 69.75 kilograms, wearing the blue trunks with black and white. She is undefeated, 6 fights, 5 wins, 1 draw. Representing Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, she is the number 7th ranked in the WBA. She is Tayla Harris.
Harding.
When the action begins, and charge in the centre of the ring, Mr. Malcolm Bullner.
Welcome everybody to Epicenter TV. Matthew Pilios here with Jordan Ballerini, Jake Giddington. It is the Aussie female super welterweight title. AFL sensation Tayla Harris takes on Janay Harding. What a fight. Harris from the Carlton Football Club. They're here.
Main event on the card.
What a fight it's going to be. Big time
Tayla
boxing. It is going to be huge. Tayla Harris, the 2nd title she's going for. And what a beauty this one. Big time boxing.
All set up here for the semi-main event before Terzievski and Opelu go head-to-head. But this is an all-important matchup. Tayla Harris is looking for a 2nd Australian title in a 2nd weight class. This is the super welterweight division, and she's coming up against a traveller from Sydney in Janay Harding, who's just fought on Bellator 2 weeks back.
Yeah, and let's be honest, 2 fighters that don't really love each other. Always good to have some rivalry in the country in the fight game. We had Danny Green and Mundine, one of the biggest. This could be the next best thing. Tayla Harris and Janay Holloway Point Harding, 2 tough fighters, world class, I reckon. And it's Harris the athlete taking on Harding the fighter. 2 great athletes and fighters, I'd like to say. It's going to be an unbelievable title fight. 8 by 2-minute rounds. I welcome everybody from the AFL world. It is great to be here live on Epicenter TV. Matt Pilios here with Jordan Ballerini and Jake Giddington for the 2nd of 3 title fights as Harris lands.
Yeah, Janay Hollow Point Harding really came out strong there, and Taylor's landed a few on her here.
Big right.
Big one on the chin there for Tayla.
Harding's coming up with her chin up. I don't like that. As tough as she is, she's throwing punches with her chin in the air, and Tayla Harris rocked
I think
it.
Taylor's rattled here, though, after copping a big one on the chin there. Both girls coming out strong.
Heavy hands, let me tell you. Everyone watching for super welterweight, this is tough. Both girls with power in their hands.
And, of course, Janay Hollow Point Harding fighting in Bellator MMA with a record of 5-4. She is a really, really tough girl, guys. She's had 5 wins in MMA, which is just crazy.
Beautiful right hand moments ago from Janay Hollow Point Harding, and in centering it's Tayla Harris, the Australian middleweight champion, looking for the super welterweight crown. A beautiful counter punching there from Janay Hollow Point Harding, who's like a shark trying to constrict her opponent in the Australian champion in Tayla Harris.
She's just trying to close the distance at the moment and doing a good job. She's copping a few punches, Harding on her way in, but what a start. Both girls, and Harding has really made a statement. I reckon she's stunned this crowd.
Yeah, definitely silenced the crowd here at the Melbourne Pavilion in the opening round. And she seems pleased with her start. Her corner there is talking to her. She's trained by Anthony Redwood out of Gaige High Performance Boxing in New South Wales, Sydney.
Yeah, it was certainly a very fast start by both of the girls. They both landed a few big shots there, and I thought that At one stage, Tayla was actually rattled because Janay landed a big shot on her chin, and Tayla looked a little bit stunned, but Tayla landed a few big shots of her own there.
Took it well, and she battled on. It was a great round. A lot of volume for a first round. And this crowd is electrifying here at the Melbourne Pavilion. I can't tell you, the atmosphere inside here is unbelievable. We've got families, we've got kids, a few kids I should say, but here to watch the AFL sensational Tayla Harris, who is already a champion, I should say, already has the in a different weight class, Jordan, and this is going for a second title. So Harding, a tough fighter.
Yeah, she'll come forward all night, Janay Harding, and put the pressure on, really on the throttle early. But Tayla Harris, how's she going to go with this pressure? She really hasn't sort of faced this pressure in her career.
No.
Her last win was against Margaret Butcher last month on the Team Alice Cup, where she stopped her opponent in the second round. But Janay, what a start here on Big Time Boxing semi-main event.
Harris's right straight down the button is good, and she might catch Harding coming in. Harding a good hook there. I remember this fight when they fought the first time, and Harris's power was always the advantage, but Harding, a big right in the chin of Harding there. So Harris lands, then they both exchange.
That was a big punch, and Janay Hollowpond Harding has won all bar one of her victories by TKO or KO in MMA, that is. So she is a very good striker and definitely no one to turn your nose up at.
Yeah, Janay Harding, born in Christchurch, New Zealand, and residing in Sydney, New South Wales. Out of the Grand High performance, coming forward.
In big trouble.
Beautiful counter-punching skills there by Tayla Harris, who's looking for a second domestic crown.
Jordan Harris landed 2 or 3 big punches there, and that's her best win of the night. Oh, she gets rocked there, though. Oh, catches her coming in. They're both in trouble. Oh, Harris could be in trouble. Big trouble. She's on light feet. Let me tell you, Harris is in a bit of trouble here. If Harding gets that overhand right, she's dropped her left hand.
I think
that's the right that's landing.
Janay smells blood a little bit here.
Closing the distance, Janay Harding, the 25-year-old against the 22-year-old in Tayla Harris. 10 seconds remaining, and for me, the ring generalship and the clean punches is from Harding.
Yeah, for sure. Harris landed some big ones and rocked her early, but Harding has finished stronger, and Harris needs to recover there. What a fight.
What a fight. What a fight so far. These first 2 rounds have been electric, and I've been very disappointed to hear the battle on both occasions.
The big question is, can Janay Harding keep this sort of pressure for 8 rounds? This is a title fight now.
Guys, it's 2 rounds down. I don't know if they can go this pace, but it's been an outstanding world-class fight so far we have here live.
And 2 high-level strikers, obviously. As you said, Matty, I'm not sure if you'll be able to keep that pace for the whole fight. It doesn't look like she wants to stick around, boys. It looks like she wants to get the victory early here. And Tayla Harris will have none of it.
I agree. A big hello to everyone in Queensland and New Zealand, obviously watching the support. Harding as well.
As we touched on earlier in the card, boys.
Round 3.
Round 3. I think it's important, Jay, it's important for Harris to get a good start here, because I reckon if Harding rocks her early, Harding's going to be careful of the power of Harris. Harris has got a heavier hand. She's got natural more strength and power just due to her strength and athleticism and her height. So Harding's going to be careful as well. As tough as you can be, you chin's your chin.
Absolutely, and you mentioned in the first round, Matthew, that she's coming in with her chin up a little bit, and Tayla has capitalised on that with a few nice punches so far.
Tayla Harris is a little bit more of a straight puncher rather than the rounded sort of wild puncher that Janay Harding is. But I don't know if Janay Harding can keep this for 8 rounds. 6 more rounds to go. And Tayla Harris has been in these big level fights before against Margaret Butcher, and also at the end of last year in November for a title as well, the Australian middleweight title.
That was good.
But she's light on her feet. She needs to get behind the jab, but Janay Harding is really getting on the inside with ease, Matt Pilios.
Yeah, Harding looks good. She's changing levels. She's got Tayla Harris guessing. She's got good hooks. And her head movement's been good. She's been getting out of the way. She's got to get out of that right punch. And she can't exchange. I think when Harding's on her feet, she's getting Harris. She's just beating Harris to the punch first.
Yeah, she's really getting in her face here, boys, and I don't think Tayla Harris has really faced this sort of adversity before.
Big exchanges here. Harris in big trouble. Ate a big right hand.
Got to say, though, boys, Tayla Harris showing some real heart here.
Great heart by both fighters. Unbelievable.
Heart of a champion, Tayla Harris, but the raging bull is coming forward in Janay Harding. She's like Rocky Marciano here tonight at the Melbourne Pavilion.
Harris is becoming too predictable with that big overhand right. She's not doing the jab. She's lost all the boxing at the moment. She's just winding up that right hand at the moment. So
spot on,
Harding's getting around that. She's put it all on the chin. She's put her in big trouble.
Oh,
what a fight.
Happy to see the bell there.
That is the end of round number 3.
Special round with a capital S there for Janay Harding, and unofficially I've got her 3 rounds to 0 up, and Tayla Harris has all to do in the remaining 4 rounds.
What a fight, guys. This crowd are on the edge of their seats. It is unbelievable.
It is truly phenomenal, and Janay Harris is really getting in her face, as we said before, and it has not slowed down. 3 rounds of it so far.
I agree.
So 5 rounds remaining in the corner there for Janay Harding. The trainer is Anthony Redwood. She was formerly trained by Cole Smith, but now got Anthony Redwood in her corner, and she seems an improved fighter here, Janay Harding. One of her best efforts so far in her career, and Tayla Harris is having a word to the former Australian super middleweight champion in Faris Chevalier, who's in her corner.
Massive, absolutely massive.
Round 4.
And Coach Faris, of course, really getting in her ear there.
And Harris came out with that big right. Oh, that landed!
Oh!
And that was always the big right. She's in trouble. Referee should be taken to the...
This is a big standing 8 count. Janay Harding does not know where she is right now, boys. Tayla Harris smells blood.
This could be over.
This looks to be over.
Another second knockdown here.
I would have stayed down for the count if I were you, Janay. Get some time in. Get your feet back.
Second knockdown, and Malcolm Borner's having a talk to her final instructions. She's going for the kill here in Tayla Harris, looking to improve her record to 7 wins.
She's got to know that overhand right's coming. There it is. Oh, she's in big trouble. This could be over. Referee. Oh,
he's waved it off. And we have a new Australian super welterweight champion in Tayla Harris. Faris Chevalier is going off in the corner. He's pleased with her troop.
Ladies and gentlemen, 58 seconds into round number 4. Your referee, Malcolm Borner, put a stop to this contest. Your winner via TKO and new ANBF Australasian Super Welterweight Champion, Tayla Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout is the main event on this big-time boxing card. The Australian heavyweight title will be decided. Fighting out of the red corner, Faiga, Django, Opelu.
What's my name? Picture my props. Stressing the city, the cops are topping me. The properties full of bullets, nobody's dropping names. No stopping me. Constantly moving while making millions. Witnessing killers, leaving dead bodies in the abandoned buildings. Carries the children cause they're illin'. Addicted to killing and the appeal from the gap.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, Kris Terzievski. Can we please be all upstanding? Mr. Andrew Campbell, under the auspice of the Professional Boxing and Combat Sports Board of Victoria. Your judges presiding over this bout are Martin O'Malley, Helen McCall, and Mr. Andrew Bartlett. Your doctor at ringside is Dr. Walter DiBartolo. Your timekeepers are Chris Anderson Jr. and Tommy Davis. When that bell tolls, your referee in charge in the centre of the ring, Mr. Malcolm Bullner. Tonight's fights are brought to you by Big Time Boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, both warriors have now entered the ring, and this is the main event of the evening. Melbourne, let's bring the noise. It's main event time. 10 by 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. They'll be fighting for the vacant ANBF Australian heavyweight title. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, trained by Luke Meldon, Stephen Della out of Fortitude Boxing with an official weight of 104.6 kilograms. Wearing the black trunks with gold. A record of 13 fights, 11 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. 8 wins coming by devastating knockout. Fighting out of Queensland by way of Samoa. He is the 7th ranked heavyweight in Australia and the winner of the Frankie Bianco Cup 2019 right here in this very ring. Faiga Django Opelu. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, trained by Ray Giles and the team out of Strive Gym with an official weight of 101.9 kilograms. Wearing the white trunks with gold and black. This man is undefeated. 9 fights, 8 wins, 1 draw, 7 coming by KO. Representing Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, he is the current Victorian heavyweight champion, Kris Terzievski. Both fighters to center ring for referees' instructions.
Ladies.
Gentlemen, you had the instruction in the dressing room. Let's have a good clean fight. Okay, my instructions are all parents. Good luck. All your corners come on fighting at the back. Best of luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's our Australian Heavyweight Championship on the line. Who is going to hold the title at the end of the night? Will it be Faiga, Opelu, or Christopher Terzievski? Victoria versus Queensland, the Aussie title on the line. And it's Faiga Opelu in the black trunks, Kris Terzievski, Craigie Burn Boy in the white. Huge fight tonight in Melbourne. 2,500 Matt Pilios here with Jordan Ballerini and Jake Eddington. Everyone's on their feet, and 10 by 3-minute rounds. The power of Opelu is second to none. Terzievski's biggest test of his career.
Yeah, it all comes down to this. Terzievski looking for his second professional strap. He's the current Victorian champion. He's coming up against the Frank Bianco Cup winner in Faiga Opelu with 11 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw.
And anyone new to boxing on Epicenter TV, let me tell you, it's the athlete, the former footballer, taking on the tough brawler, boxer, Frank Bianco Cup winner, Faiga Opelu. It is different styles tonight. Beautiful jab there by Kris.
We have all been looking forward to this one, and just another mouth-watering bout tonight, fellas. I think that the thing I've noticed early is that Faiga Opelu has extremely explosive power, and he is just one dangerous man.
Heavy exchange there. Huge.
Heavy artillery thrown by Django Opelu in the early stages. That's his nickname, but Terzievski's a smart boxer, and he'll work off that right lead, Matt Pilios.
Yeah, beautiful. He's peppering that jab, Chrissy, well. He's circling away from the big right hand. See how he's circling to his right. And that's Opelu. Oh, strong punch. Kris smiled. That's the power. That is the power of Faiga Opelu. For a guy who's 6 foot on the knocker, unbelievable.
We have 2 phenomenal athletes in the ring here, boys. What a fight.
Kris has got to keep those hands tight to the chin, protect his chest and chin. Beautiful left jab again. Right jab, left hook, I should say. Slip there on Kris. And wow. Great for big guys. These guys, we said it at the start of the night, 105 kilogrammer and 102. They're relatively light heavyweights, but these guys are fast and they hit faster and hard.
Yeah, explosive heavyweights. Opelu's last fight was in July against the towering Inferno there in Julius Long, where he got the unanimous decision victory over the 7-footer. But Terzievski's last fight was in June against Viliamu Motosaga. It was more a tune-up fight for this matchup for the Australian heavyweight title.
Yeah, Kris Terzievski's been waiting for a long time. He's only had that draw, which has blemished his record, 7 knockouts. And, you know, he was a great athlete, always a good footballer from Craigieburn. He's got a huge following in Melbourne. He's a great guy, and he wants this bad. But the toughest test, clearly, of his career.
And you just can't help but notice the Mike Tyson style of Django Opelu here.
100%.
He's keeping low, crouched down low, bobbing and weaving and coming in with explosive shots. You can tell he's watched some Iron Mike tapes.
Yeah, for sure. He's got that Iron Mike build, but I think the volume of punches here from Kris early has been really impressive. And I don't know if Opelu's ever fought someone who's as athletic as Trezewski.
Yeah, one of the best heavyweight movers there in Kris Terzievski, the Macedonian marvel. But he's had a great 10-week camp sparring the likes of Tuisi Vuisitu, David Moy from Beast Fight Club, and Lucas Thriller Miller. For me, in that round, that Pilios 10-9 in favour of Terzievski.
Yeah, Kris got that win. Great start for his confidence. Exactly what he needed. He's got to be careful early in this second round. I reckon Opelu's power is going to be unbelievable here. So he's had 8 knockouts himself.
I would say 10-9 to Terzievski also, boys. He had the right balance of throwing volume of punches, but also paying his opponent enough respect.
So 10-9 in the first round for Kris Terzievski and Django Opelu. He's definitely got that one-punch power. It could be a good night for Kris Terzievski if Opelu lands on him cleanly. But Ray Giles is in the corner there for Terzievski, and he's one of the best trainers in the business, going over to Paris with Sugarcane Watts.
Yeah, Ray Giles got back. He's got Quincy Armstrong and the team in his corner. And the Australian heavyweight title on the line here. Who's going to hold that Aussie title that many greats have held over the journey?
Opelu coming forward, but look at that nifty footwork there from Kris Terzievski, one of the best movers, evasive mover, and gets away from the right hand of Faiga Opelu from Queensland.
Yeah, Faiga's head-hunting then. Kris has got to be careful. While he's fresh early in this round, he's got to be really careful. And we welcome Sugarcane Watts to the commentary position, our Australian Cruiserweight champion, who just had a great time in France. Lost to our world champion there, but great to have Sugar back.
Oh, it's wonderful to have Sugar next to me right in the commentating booth.
Jordan, I've never seen you get so excited, mate. Good to see.
Oh, I love Sugarcane Watts, and you know, he went the 4 rounds against Arsene Goulamirian, but Goulamirian's a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. He'll win all the titles in the cruiserweight division, and now for Sugarcane Watts, he's got some big domestic matchups. One I'd like to see is Mark Bam Bam Flanagan and Sugarcane Watts going head-to-head.
I see that happening as we go to this halfway through the second round. And really the pressure's on Terzievski. Faiga's really done the attacking this round. I think Kris needs to weather this storm and just stay away from the power shots. He's boxing very smart. As powerful as he is, he knows he's got a heavy hitter.
Yeah, he hits like a truck, this Faiga Opelu, the Samoan-born fighter, only 25 years of age. He's got a high ceiling, but he's coming up against his toughest test. High boxing IQ here from Kris Terzievski, and look at that whipping left hand, Jake Edgington.
And all you have to do is look at the records of these boys. 8-0 with 1 no contest for Kris Terzievski, 7 KOs. And Django Opelu, 11 wins, 8 KOs. So these boys have some serious knockout power, and what a fight it's been so far.
I'm concerned Kris just chin up there, even though he's pepping that jab, the overhand right. He's just got so much power. Faiga, Django Opelu, we say hello to everyone in Queensland and everyone, all the Samoans fans watching him as well. Very proud of this man. Queensland champion, Franco Bianco Cup, and wants to be the Aussie heavyweight champion. What a fight it is so far. He's had a great round, had Kris on the back foot for most of this round.
Yeah, but towards the back end of this round, Terzievski's really lifting. The heat's lifting now, and he's putting some good quality combinations together, Jake Edgington.
I think this is a very close round, boys. I think that Terzievski's picking his shots a little bit better, whereas Django Opelu is throwing and hoping a little bit more, perhaps.
But we look at the Ireland fight where Ireland got the points on judges, and he just did the attacking. Some judges may see the attacking more than the cleaner shots. That was a clear indication, that lightweight title, when we all thought Ricey won it, and one judge had it, and the other 2 had a draw. So
That's round number 2, scheduled 10 rounds. Your
very
main
close
event,
fight.
Big time boxing.
Jordan, we'll get you to put the headsets on Kane Watts for a sec. Kane, we'll just have a quick chat for you, just in the break. Or we'll get
Big time boxing, Storm and Milana.
So Kane Watts will quickly have a quick chat in the break. Even though you didn't get the win, Kane, we just want to say on behalf of Australia, even though you didn't get the win, unbelievable effort against a top 2 or 3 fighter in the world in France. Welcome back. How's your experience and how you feeling?
Yeah, mate, it was an unbelievable experience and something that, being a young boy, mate, I never would have thought I'd reach those heights, but yeah, we got there, mate, we gave it our all, and
great effort. 15,000 Frenchmen in the crowd and women.
18,000 Frenchmen, mate.
Amazing, mate. You had 50 Aussies there supporting you, which was huge.
A couple of boos in the crowd, mate, we had to deal with, but yeah, we got through it.
And this heavyweight fight, Kane Watts, is for the Aussie title. I know you know of both fighters very well. Opelu won the Frankie Bianco Cup, I think, when you were maybe on the card that night, and Kris Terzievski has had a phenomenal run. Your thoughts so far, very even start.
Yeah, mate, it's a big battle of styles, this one. Chrissy likes to box around, move around, and
good left.
The other fella, mate, just likes to walk in and throw big bombs. So whether Chris can stay out of the way of these tonight. So.
And obviously you and Kris know each other well. The preparation for Kris Terzievski in a fight like this, I mean, do you think it's his footwork trying to just get away from that right and just outbox instead of getting in a fight like this?
Yeah, mate, he does a lot of work on angles and movement, so I think it's starting to pay off a little bit for Kris, and as the rounds get later, mate, it's just going to show more, I think.
You know, these heavyweights too, they're both under 105 kilo. Obviously, Opelu just on 5'11", 6 foot, thick and powerful. And Terzievski, not as big and heavy, but a great athlete, Kane.
Yeah, mate. Awesome left-hander landed by Kris. And mate, he's just got to chip away, keep chipping away at the wood block, mate. And the tree will fall, I think, by the end of the night. So time will tell.
Definitely great round here for Kris Terzievski so far. That's for sure.
He's in cruise control, Kris Terzievski, here in the 3rd round. And the big question is Faiga Opelu. How's his fitness? How are you seeing it, Sugarcane? Can he go these 10 rounds?
For the first 6, mate, they've always got plenty in the tank. So it's after that 6 rounds where that's where it starts to show. So it'll be interesting to see.
So back to the action here. Malcolm Borner in centre ring, experienced campaigner, but Opelu is coming forward, trying to constrict his opponent, looking for that right hand, Matt Pilios.
I don't want to see Kris with his back to the ropes here because he's going to get hit. He cannot be flat-footed with his back to the ropes here like he was for the last 15, 20 seconds. He got hit 2 or 3 times there, the most he's been hit this fight. He's got to be careful.
Good to see Malcolm Borner back in the middle, mate. I think he refereed my first ever fight 15, 12 odd years ago.
Opelu now, heavy right hand. Kris is going to circle away from that right. This is exactly what he wanted. Body shot.
He cut off the ring nicely there. Faiga Opelu, the Samoan-born fighter. And Malcolm Borner is counting on Kris Terzievski. He's struggling in the blue corner, Sugarcane Watts.
A shock to most people, the body shot there. The power of Faiga. Terzievski was in trouble the last 30 seconds. He's got to use his angles. He's got to use his reach. Probably has a lot of power.
Explosive power from the Samoan, the 25-year-old coming forward, and that brings it in. 10-8 round there. Faiga Opelu, Matt Pilios.
The Melbourne Pavilion's in.
Ben Sassoli and Marvyn Feterika.
Some big names there.
All set up here. In this 4th round, Kris Terzievski wants to get on with it. Malcolm Borner in centre ring, and we're good to go for the Australian heavyweight title.
Big test for Kris Terzievski. All these fans, he's got the black armbands, obviously close to Dwight Richie as well. We say rest in peace in heaven, Dwight, the cowboy.
Oh, he just can't get stuck up on these ropes.
Correct.
Every time he's backing up onto the ropes,
he's just got to angle out.
Mate, it's just got to circle around to his right and get back to centre.
Oh.
Bit of wrestling in centering, and Malcolm Borner warns Faiga Opelu, the man training out of Fortitude Boxing under Luke Meldon and Stephen Dalla. He's coming forward. He's looking for those single punches and that rear right hand, Matt Pilios.
Kris put him in a bit of a guillotine, and Apollo tried to throw him. So Kris, he's got to start using that jab. Really got to pep that right jab.
He's just
he's lost his way a bit like that.
He's just letting him walk in. He's not pumping that jab out to keep him at bay.
He's got to use that range. Yeah, and he's got to get back on his toes.
Yeah, he needs to get back on the bike, really working the right lead there and holding on Faiga Opelu, but Borna has been involved in this matchup, warning both fighters in centering.
Huge fight. And the Terzievski fans.
A couple of nice headshots from Kris there.
Yeah, beautiful one, Kris.
He's just working back into that corner though. He's just got to keep circling.
But keep those hands up. And I think Chris's work rate can potentially wear down Faiga.
Yeah, over 10 rounds, he can definitely sort of wear down the Samoan fighter, but he's only one punch away from disaster with Faiga Opelu's power.
Yeah, correct. We saw that last round. And great round by Kris. Really good, impressive fight back this round. He's got to keep his hands up, though. I'm starting to get worried. I mean, it's just there's fitness and there's boxing fit. Just going to keep that left hand up for that big right that Faiga just tried to attempt to throw, boys.
Yeah, the Victorian champion struggling and a little bit under duress here in this round, but he needs to get back on the bike and work off the right lead. He's trying to do that in this round. A much better round for Terzievski. Hasn't got caught by Opelu's power in this round, but if you remember in the last round, Opelu knocked him down to win that round 10-8.
And Kris, you know, it's only his 9th professional fight. It's a huge effort to be fighting for the Aussie heavyweight title. You'd probably agree, Kane. 8 fights down.
Massive effort, mate. Massive effort. I think it was 16, 17 fights before I even got a crack at the Aussie title.
So Kris warned, I think, for sort of half headlocking, and he's obviously trying to recover. So I think there's a warning or point. They've taken off a point. I cannot believe it. He is taking off a point. Our referee.
That was a bit harsh on
very harsh.
Kris Rahas, I think, but
a beautiful jab. Kris not happy at all.
Opelu now on the front foot in the blue corner, going for the kill, but that brings an end to round number 4. All set up for the 5th round.
Well, Kris in front before that point, obviously. Now I reckon Apollo could be up maybe by 2 points. Very even fight regardless. Big crowd. Jake, how are you feeling?
The 7th ranked heavyweight in Australia, Faiga Opelu.
All set up here in the 5th round. 2 points up. I've got Faiga Opelu, and Kris Terzievski's got all to do in the second half of the fight as Matt Pilos is getting into the booth here in the commentating booth. He means business tonight.
And he's not sharing. It's been upsetting.
Sugar Cane wants his back from Paris and he's ready to get stuck into the sushi, boys.
You look at the corner there, Stephen Dalla just having a word there to Faiga Opelu. And, you know, he's up in this fight. Don't do anything stupid, just be smart. Try to land those right hands because Kris Terzievski, he's down on the cards. It's really his fight to win now. He needs to come from behind against Faiga Opelu to win his coveted Australian heavyweight title. We've got the Frank Bianco Cup winner in Opelu and the Victorian champion Kris Terzievski in centering.
I'd just like to see Kris keep that right foot outside, mate. Just keep moving around to his right. He's moving straight onto the power hand.
Yeah, that's a good point, moving straight into the right hand of Opelu there. As we got absolutely showered with sweat there, boys, all over Matthew Pilios' sushi.
Both fighters in centre ring now. Terzievski trying to use that right lead to keep his opponent at bay, but Faiga Opelu is getting on the inside, trying to cut down the space. Just missed with a couple of right and left hands there, and a much better work here from Kris Terzievski in terms of his defensive work and his blistering hand speed that he uses. One of the best efficient sort of movers in the heavyweight division.
He certainly is, mate. He's still, watching his footwork, he's getting caught on that inside of that left foot of Vitelli. He doesn't want to be on the inside of that left foot. He wants to be staying away from that power hand. Another nice body shot from him there. He doesn't want to be wearing too many more of them.
Yeah, vicious body shot moments ago. What are your thoughts here, Jake Edgington?
Yeah, just Opelu just pouring on the pressure here, and Terzievski just moving away. It's a pretty good fight here, boys. Very much enjoying it.
Opelu coming forward, trying to constrict the space. He tagged his opponent there in Terzievski, and he takes down another knee, and this is another knockdown. Can the Victorian heavyweight champion get up Sugarcane Watts? That's the question.
That is the second knockdown, and with the deduction of a point for Terzievski, the scorecard suddenly isn't looking very good for him.
The biggest fight of both their careers, and it's the Queenslander, the Traveller.
I would be careful walking forward with your hands down like that if I were Opelu, because Terzievski, you can't underestimate his power.
Oh, he packs a lot of power. 8 KOs in his 11 victories. And his Victorian opponent, he's on the ropes, but Malcolm Borner has been involved in this matchup. And Terzievski needs to come from behind.
He's just getting caught on the inside of...
Takes a knee there, but that's not a knockdown. Just a little bit of a slip there, a bit of a wrestling move there from Faiga Opelu.
Faiga's got a real head of steam here, boys. I think he senses a bit of blood in the water and wants to move on Kris Terzievski and get him out of here.
Yeah, he's going for the kill now. Landed the right hand, and the right hand to the midsection from Faiga Opelu. He's using all sorts of combinations, and his fitness has been first class tonight. The 7-week training camp with Dempsey McKean has proved the difference against Kris Terzievski. Not long left in this round.
Few shots in the back there who should have been pulled up on.
Caught him with a right hand to the midsection. What a round there from Faiga Opelu, Jake Edgington.
Good time from Big Kris there as he slumps into the corner.
So that brings an end to round number 5, second half on this title fight. Brings it into the contest, and it's a 5th round referee technical decision win for Faiga Opelu. He moves to 12 wins, and he's the new Australian heavyweight champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round number 5, the corner put a stop to this contest, declaring winner via TKO, and new ANBF Australian Heavyweight Champion, Faiga Django Opelu. Thank you.